All agents are currently assisting other customers. Please stay on the line and your call will be answered in the order it was received.
Lieutenant Kirk. That's right. It's an honor to meet you, sir.
Look, you guys all know that I hate this show, but I cannot take this lying down. Well, I guess technically I have to, but I can't. This kind of willful, blatant, flagrant Bobbyism, uncaring about existing canon, just bothers me more than anything else about this so-called new Trek. I mean, if just one of those so-called writers would have bothered to watch the classic episode The Menagerie, they could have fixed this by just watching this scene.
You ever met Chris Pike?
We met when he was promoted to fleet captain.
Now, I'm sure that Salty, like all the other shills, was going to have some kind of excuse as to why it doesn't matter to them.
Congratulations on your promotion to fleet captain.
About why the fabric of the shirt has changed.
Frustrating.
James, meet our Chief Science Officer, Mr. Spock. Spock, meet James Kirk, First Officer of the Farragut.
Today's Nerd Fights was brought to you by SAG, the Screen Artificial Intelligence Guild. We do not feel pity, we do not feel remorse, and we absolutely will not strike. Remember, kids, to err is human. And also by these guys, because I guess for some reason they want to support Salty, those sons of bitch.
Hi,
I'm
Captain Christopher Pike.
That's me.
Computer and program?
Hey!
Hey.
Hello.
So obviously they released a preview of next week, and it's finally the Lower Decks episode next week. So that'll be fun.
If I'm low energy today, guys, it's because I've been moving. since 7 a.m. my time until about 45 minutes ago.
Oh my! But I hear good things. I hear you.
I hired helpers though, so don't worry too much about
high functioning young people.
Dude, this one guy, he picked half of the couch up because even though I had sold the couch already, as you can see, it's not here anymore. Today was the day I was waiting to deliver it when I got the truck and the movers, right? And it comes apart in 2 pieces because it was a sectional. And this dude picks up the big piece by himself. So like, I was like, He-Man, like I started doing the He-Man thing, and the dude started cracking up laughing. And I was like, you must work out. He's like, my job is a workout, bro. I was like, I bet. It's like, holy shite. Yeah, it was crazy. So
yeah, that's what they do. So yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Pepsi Zero. Am I acting?
Actually,
commercials.
It is being brought to you by Pepsi.
Oh man, look at you.
Look at that. That's too funny. That was not planned, y'all. That was not planned. I hopped in here literally like 2 seconds before we went live for those watching.
Yeah. So, first of all, I need to settle a little fight that I had today with Jason offline.
Yeah.
Jason hated this episode, by the way. Just
I
so he's
didn't
be
hate
ragging
it.
on it. And he was ragging.
I was grumpy about it first thing in the morning.
Yeah, he was very grumpy about it this morning. And one of the things he was complaining about was, why are they sucking deuterium out of the nebula? It's stupid. The deuterium is right? Right.
Well, text messages don't have that connotation in them. However, I'll take your artistic license.
Yes. All right. So, as far as deuterium being important for starship operations and huge tanks of deuterium and storage, deuterium and all that, I would refer you to Enterprise, Marauders, Regeneration, Rajan, Stratagem, TNG, Heart of Glory, Booby Trap, at Captain's Holiday, DS9, the Maquis Part 2, and Civil Defense, and Voyager, the Cloud, Demon, Bliss, the Void, and and Drive.
I've got no issue with any of that. I have no issue with any of that.
I wasn't sure if it was actually mentioned by name and I wanted to check, and I didn't realize it was in that many episodes. But yeah,
my problem is something that is probably the closest piece of science in all of Star Trek, going back for decades, and they absolutely whiffed on it. And claimed that first off, that deuterium is in any way toxic, and that deuterium can be in any way refined, because it is the
we do know.
We do know. Absolutely,
Enterprise.
We do know.
No, there was an episode of Enterprise. Where they had to protect the deuterium refinery station from the Klingons.
Well, there's a refinery in the sense that if the hydrogen needs to be turned into deuterium, which is otherwise known as heavy hydrogen, then that would be a thing. But deuterium is very real and very naturally occurring, and you are breathing it right now.
I have a question. Now that Flash is on streaming, have you watched it yet, Michael?
I watched The Flash in theaters.
Oh, you did? Oh, it was Jason.
The only movie
I skipped it. Yeah, I saw that it's going to streaming ASAP. So I just
it's already there. I just watched it again, and my mom's giving me crap. She says stop eating junk food.
We got a super tip.
Oh,
I don't give a shit about your super tip. I was talking. That's so rude. You're going to interrupt me for a super tip?
Yes.
Oh my God,
Danny.
No, I refuse to be your monkey when you interrupt me for it.
Well, it's from your birthday.
super tip.
Ariel, thank you so much.
Aha!
But it's not a Danny special. 333 says, Salty, Pepsi would like to know your location. They have a check for you. I believe it's in the description still. If it's not, look at one of my older videos. You can still find it.
Unfortunately, it's only available for rent for the full price of the dang Blu-ray here in Canada, so I won't be doing
The
that.
Flash.
So
Yeah.
the reason I brought up the Flash is because I haven't eaten today, and I've been moving since 7 a.m. I've probably lost 5 pounds, and I feel like I'm looking at that thing that says like dangerously low calories, like he had in the movie.
Oh.
And I'm just like shoving this shit in my face. So I'm sorry, Mom. Don't judge me. Been
I'm
working
going
all
to judge
day.
you.
You always judge me.
You got enough in your gut now to get through the show. Put it down and talk. Catch your breath. Take a drink of your Pepsi. Pepsi Zero. Same great taste, but no sugar. Pepsi
Dude,
Zero.
it really is. I mean, I'm not a shill. They're not paying me, but this is way better than Diet Pepsi. And the only difference in the ingredients, and my mom's going to hate this because it has to do with sodium. It's got 15 more milligrams of sodium in it. That's the only difference I can find. All the ingredients are the exact same. The only difference is there's more sodium. That's weird, right? Hey, Mom, I just need you to know that Twinkle Teaches you're talking to. That's I don't want to dox her, but that's the girl from Oklahoma with the car, came to North Carolina. Her family took it. I'm trying to be vague for the general audience, but hopefully that rings a bell. So anyway.
Look, they just said hi to your mom.
Yeah, I know. No, I am not diabetic, Professor Brainy Specs. That's Kadish. I'm a god's damn marvel of miracle science. I've had a heart attack. I've been in like 10 car wrecks. I'm unbreakable, bro.
I was about to say, are you just the Bruce Willis from the movie?
I'm unfrackin' breakable. Oh my god. That took too much energy. I gotta give it.
Yeah, unbreakable does not mean
I was gonna puke right on the
does not mean untireable.
I did eat too much too fast.
I tried to stop you, buddy. I tried.
Stan. Oh, I missed it. There it is.
What'd you say?
Peak male physique.
Oh my god.
That's that peak male physique.
Hey, is Ariel here? Does she want to see my boobs again
super
today?
tip was from Ariel.
Oh, hey, does she want to see my boobs? You got to cover me up again.
No, I'm not big.
I was only struck by lightning once, according to my mother. I don't remember it, and I think she's full of shit. But you ask my mom about it. That's where this white.
Stanley says you should crush the can on your head. And Ariel now says Danny needs to look at his stream notes. Why are you so stupid?
I don't know. I was trying to be funny. It just didn't work.
Moobs.
Yeah, I do have moobs. Thank you for that. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you.
Unfortunately,
now you don't get to see them.
We all, unfortunately,
Well, you know what, Danny? You're not
move
listening
into
to me,
moobs.
obviously. Check your dang Streamlabs.
Okay, man. I'm pulling it up. I gotta.
You didn't even bring it up before live stream?
Well, I just got here, bro, and my keyboard's not working. My keyboard's not working. There we go.
See.
He needs an IT guy.
I know. I got to get with you, Jason. I know we keep trying. I got to get with you so I can have it alert me on my screen.
Be more interactive.
Yeah. Yeah. Dashboard. There we go. I'm trying. Okay. It's been a very long day. I'm telling you this now. As soon as we're done with this episode, which may go long, I'm going to sleep. I am so beat. You have no idea. and I'm like, I don't know if you can tell. I think I'm gonna have a sunburn in the morning. I really do. Do you kind of see it? You know, like I don't know.
You got that shine from the skin has been dried out.
So Aerial Ballet with the Danny special says the same thing she said to you. Danny, Pepsi would like your location. They want you to model for their product. All right.
And put a can shaped like Danny. Except
Uh-oh.
the label will say, like Coke on it.
Oh, and then she said, probably because I didn't reply to the first one, she sent me another Danny special. Thank you, Ariel.
So, wow, dude,
She spelled it like this: Gave Muniz, and here's more. Thank you,
Muniz.
So I don't think I've told anybody this. So I had some weird PayPal kerfuffle where because I finally got a bank account and linked it to my bank account, and I paid something with PayPal, and it said it went through, and then I used my card, and then I checked my bank balance and it said I had so much, so I used it for something, and then like a day later, my PayPal account was negative, like $200. I'm like, what the F? And I thought it was hacked. So I called them and they were like, no, there's like, apparently you got to wait a couple days when you have it linked to your bank account. Is that true? That's some BS, man. I thought it was like supposed to be instant.
It depends. Well, if you wait a couple of days, there's no charge.
Well, okay. Well, anyway, thank you, Ariel. I only need $185.60 to be positive, but don't worry, I got something coming.
Okay, that's a good troll. I'll give you that one.
Well, first of all, I don't, sound of freedom, biatch. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not allowed to say other stuff. Hey, I'm just not into kids, man. I mean, I love my kids.
Dude.
This is why we need to be on Rumble. Just saying. Oh, wow. Pull up Twinkle teaches. That's a burn. That was good. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Because you know how they treat
yeah, that was.
That was good, right? That was funny. She's been on fire lately. That was almost as good as my mom.
That was a little too far. That one. That was crossing the line of.
That was a foot on both sides of the line.
So here's the thing. This is the first time I've literally got to sit down.
I saw a stand-up.
Other than being in the car, Or go ahead. Sorry.
I saw a stand-up comic was doing his, and was talking to the audience. And this person's like, roast me. He's like, why? And she said, it's my birthday. Oh, yeah, well, tell me something about you. I have MS. He's like, you do? And it's like, I don't want to make fun of somebody.
I have to take this. It's about something for sale. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I'm still listening, though.
Well, I don't want to make fun of somebody with MS. I'd be on really shaky grounds.
Ouch. And awesome.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, selling shit. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, selling shit.
What's gone now?
This cabinet over there.
Ah.
Get rid of it. This thing out of here.
Nice.
And once I get rid of that, everything else, if I don't sell it, is manageable. I have enough room at my new place for it. You know what I mean? So.
And you're on schedule to be able to be ready to record Saturday morning?
No. Well, maybe. So remember I told you, well, hold up. So let's work this out. So first of all, this is going to be my first cigarette of the day. So let me do this real quick. You're not monetizing the channel today, are you?
Well, dude, that doesn't look like you're having a cigarette. That looks like you're.
No, it's a cigarette. It just was my first one. I just had to savor that first draw, man. Oh my God, it's been a day. Oh my God, it's like I swear I easily lost 5 pounds today. I've already hit. So my steps for the day. So my goal is always I've already hit 11,052 steps for the day, and it's 352 where I'm at.
I'd say that you got that. I think you nailed that area.
Yeah.
All we need is somebody to come in to be Ernie Hudson.
Yeah. Hey, my buddy Jay, well, never mind. I had to get him on. Everybody I talk to, or I tell them I do these. Oh, that's so cool! Like I would love to be a guest. I'm like, hey man, I'll give you a shot, and they never follow up. It's like I don't know. It's like, what are you afraid of? It's not like you're in front of, it's not like you're on stage in front of people. I mean, sure you're in front of people, but you're not really because You know what I mean?
You do know that for a lot of people, the public speaking, people have a higher fear of public speaking than death.
You do understand that I was the 1997 policy debate champion in the state of
No,
North Carolina.
I'm not talking about you.
No, not for you. I was for other people.
People in general have more fear of public speaking than death.
That makes no sense to me. Like, dude, I'm one of these guys because I did a thing called extemporaneous speech in NFL, which was the National Forensics League when I was in high school and college. And that's where they give you a topic and like 10 minutes. Boom, talk about it.
I understand, but I'm just saying, but you know what? Probably part of the reason you're comfortable with it now is because you did it back then. I was president of the drama club in high school, but
I was vice president.
Jason is Canadian.
Before my
actually, just to make it even more perfect, to round it right out, I took theater arts.
Yeah, see.
So there you go.
Hey, I was the lead in Little Foxes at my I did all that shit, and I missed that. Yeah, it's a play, McPherson College. My buddy Mike that was here yesterday that you saw that I had to leave for, who's been helping me out a lot. I've known the dude since '97.
Ooh, apparently we're soulless.
Who says that? Danny is the heart, Michael the mouth, and we just need the soul. Oh, Ariel, why don't you join us? You could be the soul. You know, you can have one of those little icons. You don't have to show your face if you're afraid. Although, I'd like you to show me more than your face.
No, we're not doing a show where somebody's not going to show their face on the regular basis.
I'm just kidding, man. Oh, my God. I was going to say something about...
If you want to audition to be the soul of our group, but remember, you have to commit to showing up every.
Oh, Ariel says she would be the sex dude. Why are you doing that to me? You know I haven't gotten laid in over 3 months now.
You know what? Hey, come on. Let's keep it appropriate.
Okay.
Darren, I'll be your freaking soul.
Yeah, no.
Whatever, flat earther. I can't even take you seriously anymore. And what is he called?
Were you in the underground or something?
No, man, I've been busy all damn day. Why?
No, but I mean in the last few days or something.
No, in fact, LDG's probably pissed at me. I haven't been on in a minute. You know,
okay.
It's been.
You know, let's just see. It's funny. I gotta find it now. Talk for a minute. I gotta find something. You're gonna love
it. Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Do you plan on watching The Flash?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I was reading an article. Do you care about spoilers?
No, not for that one.
So I was reading an article, and in the article they were like, well, originally Ben Affleck was going to be in Aquaman 2, shot scenes for it and everything. And then when Hamada changed the end to have Bruce Wayne or to have Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne at the end of The Flash, then they changed it again. And now, because George Clooney was Batman at the end of The Flash, they just did 5 days of reshoots in New Zealand for a movie that's supposed to come out, December? That's crazy, isn't it?
They just can't. They just...
Honestly, a lot of reshoots is not, especially for a superhero film these days, is
but it's DC.
But this is like the third or fourth round of reshoots for Aquaman.
DC's had movie with how many movies has DC had massive amounts of reshoots for? A lot. It's and the thing is, when people make news out of the existence of reshoots, you are making a mountain out of a molehill. You really are. Because
with most studios, I would take you on that. But considering Warner Brothers seems to find every single way to completely screw up DC properties over the long term, and sometimes the long term is 2 movies in and it's screwed up.
So Jason, he's still looking. We're supposed to keep talking, and I forgot I was going to go. I had something I was going to talk about, but then I got derailed. So you didn't. This isn't my favorite episode, but it's up there. Like I wish I need to start taking notes because I remember I gave last week a 5. I can't remember, or a 6. See, I don't even remember. I need to start writing down what
last week was a 5.
Was it a 5?
Yeah.
So I really liked this. It felt like you know what I really liked? So if you watch the Menagerie, when they're heading in to see Pike in the wheelchair for the first time, the Commodore asks Kirk, "Have you ever met Christopher Pike?" He's like, "I met him when he was captain of the fleet." And what happened in this episode?
Yeah, he got his
Pike
promotion,
was captain of the
then
fleet.
he finally meets. No, that's
Kirk. So I thought that was cool. I thought
there's without falling all the way into it here, like while Mike is digging around, I'll give you my hot take. It's another.
Hey, make him
awesome,
big. He's going to give us the hot take. Make him big.
I'll make my big.
We'll just.
Nope.
I can't find the thing I was looking for anyway, but I'll find it for next week.
All right.
So this episode is another excellent collection of acting and scenes and things that happened that just don't come together for me. However, upside, I'm giving a single full bonus point because Hemmer. Because that damn Hemmer scene at the end made me go...
Right? He goes from zombie to human, and he gives her that look.
And he gives her the wink nod, and it's like...
Yeah. I got to take this. I'm sorry. I'll be right back.
So that's your whole hot take?
That's my hot take. It's just another excellent collection of acted scenes
that got sniffles.
That don't come together, and they gave me the feels at the end, and yeah. So that's how I felt about it.
All right, I'm back just in time. Here, let me put this on Do Not Disturb, because people should know by now what I do Wednesdays and Thursdays. All right. So my hot take is, this was the first time we see... Now, first of all, I don't want to get into the whole canon thing because we already know how I feel about this. I'm looking at this as something separate. But
well, they showed it something separate, so I'm good with it.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of people who are...
A lot of people that want...
Still trying to wedge this in as canon.
Can't let go of it, I understand.
Yeah, so
at the same
we
time,
know I'm not that guy. Yeah. So I just wanted to preface what I was about to say with that, okay? This is technically the first time we've seen a version of Captain Kirk in Strange New Worlds that is supposed to be the same Kirk as William Shatner in the original series. Can we all agree on that?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be. Right?
Yeah.
It's not an alternate. It's not an alternate version of Kirk like the two previous ones we had. So I'm starting to warm up to this dude. I actually am. I really liked his interactions with Uhura. I loved the first meeting with Spock at the end. I love the relationship with his brother. This episode got me. I've watched it several times since I didn't get to see it until it aired at midnight today.
You had to watch it a lot.
Yes, but this isn't my favorite of the season so far, but man, it's up there. That's why I wish I could remember what my other scores were. I really enjoyed this episode. It really did feel Star Trek to me, because Star Trek, this is where I find myself disagreeing with a lot of my peers. Star Trek TOS, my favorite thing was the relationships. You had Kirk, Spock, and Bones, and the relationships they had there. And then you'd have other episodes where you explored the relationship between other characters. And we got a little bit of all of that in this episode. We got to explore the relationship between Kirk and his brothers, James and George Kirk. We got to explore the first interaction and the relationship between basically the seed that's planted with Kirk and Uhura, with Kirk and Spock. We have the first meeting of Kirk and Pike. I really enjoyed this episode, so much so, if I wasn't moving and I had the time, I was seriously considering doing my first pre-recorded solo, like 15-minute video going over this. And I actually really wanted to. I just did not have the time because of this move. But I enjoyed this episode a lot. So that's my hot take.
Okay. So I would say this, first of all, just to, and I know that we were both hitting it. Something I was looking it up because Random Menace was saying, well, two ships isn't a fleet. Actually, a fleet is, by the definition of a fleet, is any number of vessels working together. It doesn't matter how many.
Well, it was two ships in a station. He was
right,
in
but I'm
charge
just
of-
saying.
yeah.
But I'm saying, as far as the definition of what a fleet is, it doesn't. There's not a minimum number. Like if you have a fleet of vehicles, that fleet could be 2. That fleet could be 2,000. That just can't be 1. That's the only number that it cannot be. And so a fleet is defined as a multiple vehicles basically working together.
Interestingly enough, and I don't know if any other Navy does it, but I know the British Royal Navy sometimes refers to small collections of ships as a squadron.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Like, the actual U.S. Navy, and Darren's in the chat. He could break this down for you. But I mean, it would
exactly.
They have things like task force and groups, and like I know they have like carrier groups and stuff like that. But like he's saying, 5 or less ships is called a battle group in the U.S. Navy. But keep in mind, they wouldn't call Pike, well, you're the battle group captain. No, they just say he's a fleet captain while he's doing this. Just meaning that he's commanding multiple vessels. Yeah. They're just basically giving him that title to say he's in charge of the entire operation.
Well, I've seen a couple of people say they only gave him that title to make canon make sense because Kirk said he met him when he was fleet captain. And I'm like, dude, first of all,
and I would say
let this canon stuff go. Yeah, like let this canon stuff. It's not the same.
And the thing is that actually it resolves a canonical problem, which I really liked. Which is, well, we've never seen a fleet captain really. We've seen
commodores and captains and admirals.
We've never seen someone called fleet captain that I know of.
Yeah,
we've only heard of it, like I said, in Menagerie.
Except for I think Garth. Was Garth a fleet captain or was he a? I'm trying to remember. I think Garth might have been one, but that he was also old school in a nut house. So, but I just say, as far as in active duty, they didn't really. And Darren, I think Darren's nailed it. Fleet captain is just a senior captain. He's just a captain, but he's the guy in charge of this operation. That's all. And so when Kirk said, I met him when he made fleet captain, now we know that's 100% true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So move on. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And why wasn't Picard made a fleet captain when he took over the border? He should have been. But, the writers didn't think of it. Or they could have put, actually, based on the size of the operation, they should have bumped him to admiral.
Yeah, like a field commission temporarily.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
But at any rate, my hot take on the episode, I did really dig this episode. I do think that this episode felt like some old school Trek with a new flavor on it, and that doesn't bother me. I don't mind that. And I understand if you want to be a purist about it, but realistically, old Trek ain't coming back because this is not 1966 and this is not 1996. This is 2023. And so unless you got a time machine, that's what you're stuck with. And this is the best thing I think that this is as good as Trek is going to get in this current iteration. Now, maybe they'll do something better or maybe they'll do something worse in the future, but we'll see. I think this is a huge step up from the rest of the garbage that they've been putting out. And one thing that I want to point out is that I haven't heard anybody talking about in some of the videos I've seen on this episode. And really my biggest when it's kind of funny because it's almost a throwaway scene, but it's one of those things that we never get. This was a great moment between Pike and Una when they were walking in the corridor at the beginning of the episode, and he was basically giving her the assignment. And the way that he was talking to her and the way she was talking to him, and they were walking through the crew. Number one, the two of them towered over everybody else on the set physically. Anson Mount was the tallest person there, and Rebecca Romaine was the second tallest person by a country mile.
Yeah.
And I think that's on purpose. And then, but so not only do they have that physical presence, but you can see that he likes you. People say, well, he's not to take charge. No, he uses her as a strong arm because that's what she does well. He keeps a familial, fatherly relationship with his crew, allows him to, like when Uhura was breaking down, he was able to sit down with her and get to, if he was the hard, stern, mean type of captain that some people think he should be, he couldn't have that scene with Uhura that I think was a really good scene. But he could send number one to go bust everybody's balls. And both of them get a little snicker out of doing it. And so I really appreciate that we got to see that side of it, because anybody that's worked on the management side of things knows that there's always someone that likes doing that kind of thing. And everybody else knows.
It's even like, my ex-wife is a school teacher. You've got the principal who runs stuff, and the vice principal is always the disciplinarian hard ass. You know what I mean?
But I'm saying, like, there are times, like, I was the person when I was a restaurant manager for a chain, and I was the person that would go into a restaurant. When I took over as manager, within 2 days, I knew exactly what I needed to do, and I'd fire half the crew. And then I'd hire a new crew. I'd clean things up. I'd get it going and make it work. And so when they sent me to a restaurant, it was Armageddon time. And so they would pull me into a meeting and they'd say, we got a restaurant that is a mess. And I'd say, how bad is it? And we'd have a great laughing it up conversation about how much I'm going to be breaking these people. And then I'd go in and, basically I was their Una, basically. And I was very good at it. But I just really appreciated that relationship. It felt very authentic to me. And I think that's what I liked about this episode overall, is that it genuinely felt like they had a lot of good, authentic relationship moments, not a bunch of cheap, girls crying in corridors like we got in Discovery. And so that's basically my hot take. That's what I'll say.
Right on.
That goes on record as the longest hot take.
Yes. I didn't mean to ramble on, but it's me.
Rambling.
Hey, there's some good Led Zeppelin right there.
Now's the time.
Speaking of good, I love anytime they do a nice shot of the Enterprise with, in kind of a noir style with lighting it behind it and nothing in front of it. I just love those kind of shots. And this is a nice one. The nebula. Okay, you want to argue about science? This nebula is so unrealistic. It's
all nebulas are. So I give them
but
passes
all
on
nebulas, but all sci-fi are.
Yeah. They don't at all look anything like what we think they do, because all those pictures we see are stylized to all get out. And if you were ever actually there, the density is so low you'd never realize.
Right, you wouldn't even realize you were in a nebula.
No.
Yeah, and so, which I get, they just want to make it look cool, but but
and that's fine.
There are no clouds in space when you're that close to it.
There are, but they're stellar class. They're not like in your neighborhood class. It's not like when you fly through the clouds in a plane.
It's like the fact that there's water vapor around you right now.
Exactly.
That that's
space clouds.
There's space clouds.
Space clouds. Hey, space clouds for the space planes.
Yeah. Well, those are for the space boats.
Yeah, that's right. Because this is Space Navy, so they need space boats.
Space water. So then we get to see this station, which is a beast of a machine. And it's basically just a giant collector that sucks up the gas and refined.
Kind of reminded me of.
You're breaking hard.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, Insurrection was the one with the crazy make everybody
Baku.
Steal all the biogenic particles to go make themselves be young forever.
Yeah.
And it makes sense if you look at what its purpose is. It wouldn't. I mean, there aren't that many different ways you could do it. But you know, I don't think that there's really that impressive of a design, but it suits its purpose.
So the sad answer to your question, Professor, as far as I'm concerned, is this is just studio execs trying to tap into quote unquote pre-existing fan base.
If this is a new continuity, a new timeline, why match up? Because it's a pseudo parallel timeline. I think I would say.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it. And I know that's, the problem is it's as close as they want to make it, but they want to make it close. But if they get to a point like when when Pike's going to go in the chair and they're like, oh, we can't put him in the chair, they can break that.
I hope so, because I dig this Pike.
Or if they get to a point where they say, you know what, maybe we're going to kill off this Kirk, they could do that. They have those options because they've established this is a different timeline. And I'm good with that. Because to try and say, well, this is the exact same timeline is obviously foolish. And Khan wasn't Khan in the mid 21st century in the original timeline.
Indy, this whole episode is unearned moments.
Indy and Jason obviously both were smoking illegal substances during the episode.
The whole motivation for this episode is beyond insufficient. That's the big reason why I just had such a hard time with this episode.
That makes no sense to me. How is the motivation insufficient? To save lives? They couldn't shut down the station. The only way to stop it would be to destroy it.
Oops, I know you could
probably say, well, they could do this or this or that. Look, the writing is they had to destroy it. It was either destroy it or let it run. And if you let it run, you're torturing aliens.
Does the Enterprise not have a tractor beam?
See, I gotta pay
not for something that big. Did you not catch how big that thing is? Did you not really grasp the scale?
Yeah.
They had two other starships inside of it.
Well, pull harder.
Pull harder.
If they started pulling it out, then the weird space dimensional whatever could have understood, okay, they're doing the right thing. Because here's the comedy. At the very end of the movie, they blow the thing up and the thing keeps burning, which guess what? That means it's burning deuterium, which guess what? That means it's burning more of them. So way to go, geniuses.
It's not like they show this continuing fire. It explodes and then it's gone.
No, it keeps burning. There's all kinds of burny ember bits coming off of it. It's like
it sound like it's going to ignite the entire nebula and the whole thing's just going to burn away.
Yeah, but even just the initial action they used was counterproductive to what it was that they said they were trying to do.
What do you expect it to do?
I just had somebody show up at the house. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is going to be an interesting episode of people showing up to take Danny's stuff. I wonder who's going to finish the live stream. Whoever buys Danny's computer.
So, yeah, and there you go. Exactly. There's still going to be O2 on a station big enough to hold starships in it. There's going to be an awful lot of atmosphere.
But you're making it, but not enough to take out the nebula.
Yeah, but it's still killing some of them.
Well, we don't know if it kills them or just hurts them. From what we could tell, we don't know because they're extra dimensional beings.
Well, either way, their actions didn't reduce suffering.
Absolutely, they did.
No, it guaranteed an eventual end. It didn't actually end it.
It ended the suffering.
No, it didn't.
You know what? You could see in Uhura's communication with them. Your smiley cry moment with Hemmer was proof of it.
No, that was the writers not understanding what they were doing. Yeah.
No, that was them communicating to Uhura that all was well.
Yeah, we're having a barbecue instead of going through a refinery system.
Dude, you are just whatever. You know what? If you really want to get that sciencey and try to get that technical on something like this, are we going to start talking about every Star Trek episode like that? Because, like I said, there are at least 1,000 episodes of Trek throughout its history that are horrible when it comes to science.
We're talking about, okay, here's the problem. We're talking about a Star Trek series that had the strongest first season ever of all Star Trek series.
And
now
the second season is a little wobbly. I get
wobbly.
Yeah. I think I know you haven't liked it, but I think it's been mostly good. The only bad episode for me was last week. Fortunately, this week was a step back. And I don't know why you're so jaded this
Did you say the only bad episode for you was last week's?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, I wouldn't call it bad. It was my least favorite,
But
thank you.
And so, and Patrick says burning them wasn't the problem. They didn't want to be turned into starship fuel.
Which is also burning them.
Not necessarily. We don't know. Whatever the refining process was harming them.
But even if that didn't harm them,
no, it wasn't it wasn't only the refining process, because when Uhura got her first and
was when they opened up the bizarre collectors,
in themselves in the nacelles, So that also hurt them,
So everything hurt them. So let's just light the gigantic V'ger-sized refinery building on fire for a few hours.
Too hard. Like, do you think if you throw a
don't forget to like and share tweet?
I think you are really grasping at straws here. If you think throwing a candle on a nebula is going to set it on fire or something, I mean, come on. That it is not going to, it's not like that thing blowing up is not going to cause the nebula to explode or to increase the harm to these creatures. It is going to cut off what is harming them.
We don't not know. And everything is about reducing their pain.
Reduce.
And we do know.
I showed you guys?
And how
was that a super tip?
That was
super tip.
And that was from Future Guy. Remember who Future Guy is? Well, nobody knows who Future Guy is, really. My hot take says Future Guy. Everything about this episode is good, but the story, it is becoming tiring watching rehash plots of previous Trek over and over again. So Future Guy, and by the way, welcome, Yosef, is tired of Strange New Worlds because Yosef hates good Trek, but he likes Discovery. Just to make things clear, Yosef likes Discovery, hates Strange New Worlds.
Well, Yosef's opinion doesn't matter then. So
well, there's always the outside chance that
opinion matters because he gave me money. But
there's an outside chance that Yosef is just a little masochistic, though. So.
He gave you money. He didn't give me money, so I can say he didn't know what the hell he's talking about.
You can say whatever you want. But thank you, Future Guy. Trek Reviewer says, we've not seen another doctor on this Enterprise. We actually did see
another nurse person in that
we don't
horrid
know if they were a doctor. We just know they were in white.
They're that horrid white jumper.
Yeah. Which, by the way, would mean they were another civilian.
Yes.
Unless they forgot about that. And yes, Stanley, I will own that. I don't have a problem with that.
And hey, Daryl,
that is not false information. Okay, he does indeed like Discovery. He has argued over and over when I've railed on Discovery on this very channel, and he would come on and say it's not that bad. You're being you just don't he would talk about some of the problems with Michael Burnham. But
I don't here's my hot take on that comment. I don't know what's worse, Discovery, Kenobi, or Willow. All three shows I didn't watch all of because I couldn't do it.
You're muted. Though.
Yeah. Willow is the easy answer because it's the only show that was memory hold by the actual studio.
Willow was just terrible. Anyway.
We couldn't finish watching it. Discovery. I'm sorry, dude. Jason and I are going to boycott. I stopped at the midway season 3. I am not watching season 5. I'm not watching season 5. I'm not.
Dude, there's going to be there's this double strike going on. You might as well watch it because it's either that or I'm going to make you watch something even worse.
How about we watch something even better? Like
I would watch
Stargate?
Battlestar. Stargate. Yes, yeah. I'd watch Battlestar. Oh no, watch this, Danny. I'll watch Battlestar 1980 before I watch another season of Discovery.
Well, I don't know what that means because I haven't seen it, but I've never seen Stargate, and everybody tells me I should. So if you want to do a watch along after,
Stargate will take us a long time to go.
So
Stargate,
yes, there's 17 seasons.
Yeah, if we did an episode a week, it would take a couple of years.
Yeah. Wow. Stargate is in sci-fi. Stargate
wonder why I won't watch it. That's too damn much. Oh my god!
It's only exceeded by Star Trek in the sheer volume of content.
Right.
Oh my god!
Yeah, we might as well just say, hey, we're going to do all of Trek.
Yeah. Yeah. It's worth it, but it's not. I'm doing it this weekend.
What about SG-1? How
that's 10 seasons.
That's the
10.
No, 10 seasons of SG-1, 5 seasons of Atlantis, and 3 seasons of Universe, and 2 full-length movies, direct to DVD, and the original movie from the theater.
Yeah. The original movie takes place in an alternate timeline. That's the only way to explain it.
But yeah, there's an absolute fountain of content from Stargate, which is why it's such a big franchise with the people that really like it. So, which I count myself as.
Can we get back to this show? Instead of talking about what
all right. So she's going to press the jelly bean buttons and talk to the magical creatures that don't like to be burned, but we'll burn them later.
So they're talking about the mission, blah blah blah. And then,
hold up! Don't hold it there. Hold it there. Damn, that's almost
best post 2009 Star Trek ship they have ever produced.
Oh heck, with best post NX-01 starship.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. This is the best looking ship we have seen. Honestly, in this whole generation of Trek, and by a long.
Only thing sexier than that is lip gloss.
So.
And if you guys don't get that reference, go to supportsalty.com, sign up for his Patreon, and watch our Battlestar Galactica watch-alongs. I forgot to do our sponsorship read yesterday, by the way.
Yes, you did.
Yeah,
terrible.
Sorry.
All right, so they open up the Bassards to suck up some gas, which is
Anthony Mark's got a great suggestion. We ought to, because I've never watched it. We ought to do 12 Monkeys instead of Discovery because it's only 48 episodes.
I want to watch it, but I can't seem to get it for free. So
we'll see. Well, if we can get, I don't know, is there a box set for it?
Probably.
Because if I get a box set, we can do it.
I'm sure there is. Hold up. I'll look that up while you guys talk.
Yeah. Preferably on Blu-ray, it wouldn't make it a lot better.
Yeah. I don't even own a DVD player. I mean, I guess Blu-ray players will play DVD.
Yeah, Blu-ray players will play a DVD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so since she couldn't figure out where the signal came from and what's wrong with the communication system, she goes up into the nacelle to attempt to, because that's where the communications array is, which actually makes sense.
Dude, it's only $21.90. It's on sale right now on Amazon.
The whole series?
That's what it says.
Holy cow, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, dang, I'll add it to my wish list.
Oh no, that was hold up. That was DVD. The Blu-ray is $50, but it's for the
no.
complete
Right now it says
series.
$21.90 on sale for the
Yeah,
Blu-ray.
but click on it as a misleading thing because
Amazon does that a lot.
I clicked on
you
it.
sons of donkeys.
Yeah.
Well, still, it's not horrible, but
yeah. Anyway, so
Have you seen the movie?
no, I haven't. Or maybe I did and I don't remember. It's Bruce Willis in it.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm just asking.
Yeah.
All right. Add to list nerd fights.
Here, I'll put it copy.
I added it to the list.
Oh, you already added it?
Yeah.
Well, then I was slow sending you the link in the private chat. My bad.
That's all right. And anonymous
super tip.
Anonymous says Discovery Season 1 had benefit of the doubt. It progressively became soap opera with mentally unstable crew. One spore jump over the cuckoo's nest. Oh man, that should have been the name of it right there.
One spore jump over the cuckoo's nest. That was good. That's good. It's good. I'll give it to you. Whoever said that, Anonymous, that was good. You should have taken credit.
Best name for that show ever. All right. And yeah, the film is only $12. That's not too bad.
I might watch the film.
To nerd fights
Tonight. Seeing as how yesterday I watched all 3 Rambo movies just on a whim.
Rambo.
And meanwhile, Twinkle teaches super chats $5. Or super
what the hell, Twinkle? What the hell? Don't give him.
Hey! Don't get mad.
It's fine. You're welcome.
You want to stay on the show?
Oh.
Start berating people for donating. Jeez, I got to pay the bills too, you know.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
And believe me, it's. And I can't see the chat. Which sticker is that?
Oh, I don't. Because
it's working out. It's a pair that's lifting weights.
A pair that would be what I would look like if I was lifting weights. Yeah. A pair lifting weights.
Doesn't pair mean like booty on the internet? Isn't that what a pair is?
That's a peach.
Oh, it's a peach. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, peaches and eggplants.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So, and Darren says they should have showed her beaming into the nacelle or saying she did. Why?
Because how did she get there?
We saw. We see later in the same episode how she got there. The Jeffries tube went up there. That's how the crazy dude went up there, and she followed him. That was in the same room.
Yeah, but that goes up into the actual unhappy part.
It goes from the upper decks of the secondary hull. You go up through that whatever up to the nacelle. It's a long climb.
Oh my!
Have fun. That's what she's very athletic. That's why those chunky engineers from that one episode never would have made it. All right, so she goes up to the nacelle to try and fix things, and Carol Kane gets mad at her because she's Carol Kane, which I'm sure you were happy to see her. And Patrick, thank you so much for an $11 or €11 super chat. Danny.
Super chat.
Although I think Danny really needs to be educated in the world of Stargate. I will give a little towards the box set of 12 Monkeys or something. Otherwise, good. Keep up the good work, you three. Thank you so much, Patrick. And by the way, if you're interested, check out, I think it's in the description. Somebody double check that for me. It should be in the description. The link to the Amazon wish list for all the stuff we've been considering as far as stuff. People have gotten me a couple things. I got a couple of things up here already. And
it's in the description. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, All right, so moving on. And by the way, I kind of like this view behind her. Like, so this view doesn't bother me because
You know what that reminds me of is like in the original series.
Oh, down in engineering.
Yeah, they had that clear. You know, they had
it
something
does
similar
look
to
kind of
that.
like that. It would
Yeah.
almost be like Scotty was inside the nacelle,
Yeah.
even though he wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're looking at the warp coils, and that makes perfect sense. Like this, you can tell you're looking towards the back, you know, because of the color back there. I'm sure if you look behind Uhura, it would be red, or at least it should be.
You know, Darren, you know, his last comment, I don't get like that was a problem that Gary over at Pop
lots of women?
Culture. Yeah, Gary over at Pop Culture Mindful had the same problem. Like, what are you guys, gay? You don't like looking at strong, beautiful women? I mean, they're being led by a strong, beautiful man. What's the big deal? I don't know.
Here's what I'll say this about a, you know, okay. Is there a huge majority of women to men ratio on this show? Absolutely.
You know what's great about that? I like them odds, buddy. I'm just saying.
Hold on. Let me finish. But I'm going to go with an anti-Bechtel test because, in a sense, because you have men coming on the show. Are the men being emasculated and turned into buffoons in order to make said women be stronger? I would say, except for last week, the answer is no.
I would just simply say, unfortunately, except for Spock, no.
Yeah, and Spock particularly last week. But like this week, I had no problem with Spock.
I didn't either. I actually really enjoyed the little exchange between him and Chapel. Super Chap.
And my favorite fictional tiger that's not on the box of cereal puts $20 in, says the nacelles are highly dangerous places. Not only are they irradiated, but they're dangerously hot. Also, Psionic collectors are highly energetic magnetic fields to collect the deuterium enough to kill you. Well, apparently this room is safe.
Everyone had to do everything there so that the story could happen the way the writers wanted.
It has special shielding.
Well, I'm sure it does.
It came with plot armor.
Yeah.
And Darren, please stop calling him that. I would really appreciate that. I don't like when people use improper names, so please don't.
So hey, speaking of Darren, man, did you see those 2 videos where he was roasting you? What was that about?
Is
that a normal thing? Does he do that?
It's just the feud.
Yeah, it's just Darren being a troll.
Although
anyway,
I did agree.
And we're not going to.
I was right.
We're not going to get sidelined talking about Darren's stupid videos. Okay,
I was right, by the way, about Chapel and T'Pring. I was right, just for the record.
Yeah, fine. And I said, I always say, if I'm fine if I can be corrected. I have no problem with that. Yeah, Nurse Chapel did look surprised that T'Pring was Spock's wife. She didn't look surprised it was T'Pring, just that she was Spock's wife.
Yeah.
Now, Uhura was the only one that acted like, well, who the heck is that? But
so
this
on
is the
this
first time we've been in this nacelle.
Yeah, there's been there was it Voyager where they were hiding people in the nacelles. They would kind of power down and hide them in parts of the nacelles or something during.
But the Voyager nacelles
inspections
are an entirely different type of beast than this. And I mean, if you're going to compare, first of all, if you were in the nacelles of the NX-01, you'd be like in a plastic tube that this big around. But if you, it's tiny compared to this. If you were in the nacelles of the Enterprise D, you could put several apartment buildings in there and just live there.
Yeah, hey, Daniel's Hot Topics. I agree, man. She's a gilf all the way. Yeah.
All right, Danny.
I'm just interacting with the chat.
Enough. I know you think the women are attractive, but come on, dude. We focus on the actual.
I was just agreeing with one of your viewers, man, trying to be a good co-host.
I know, but the point of the show is not, to parade around a bunch of beautiful women. But my point about the women is that we don't see the women like just being there just so that we can have a girl show, and quite frankly, like we did with Discovery.
No, they're good. They're good. They're good character. In fact, a lot of the women, they could easily be men, and it wouldn't change their character. You know what I mean? So
well, it's not that it wouldn't change their character.
No, like Erica Ortegas, for example. If that was Eric Ortegas, wouldn't make any difference. I mean, like, really
well,
wouldn't.
except that it depends on if he was a little tiny guy or something. Sure, but but that's not the point. The point is that if like Erica Ortegas is a fun character, Laan Noonien Singh is an interesting character, Una is an interesting character. Uhura
Exactly. It doesn't matter that they're women. You can easily.
And I've said all along, I don't give a crap about the gender of the characters. I care about if they're good characters, and I'm going to stand by that. Everybody else said that for years and years, but now they're unwilling to back down on it just because there's a show that actually shows some good women characters.
Well, again, as a side note on this,
I know you hate them, but
I like all the cast in this show. It's the writers that can stay on strike forever.
Yeah. I'm with you. Let ChatGPT write an episode. We already got the basic plot of one, remember?
Yeah, we already have an awesome cartoon that you come up with earlier today.
No, I think that's going to be like an invading army that's going to come up against the Federation.
Okay.
So what are they called? Chihuahua.
Navigator Chihuahuas or something. Was that what it came up with or something? I can't remember.
Let me go there. It was great. I've had some faux chat. Chihuahua Star Pilots.
Pilots, yeah. So the issue that we've got is that for the last 10 years, give or take, we have seen modern audience, The Message, whatever you want to call it, slagged on top of almost everything that was an excellent to at least reasonably still solid franchise.
Right.
We saw the stupidest writing we could have possibly ever seen in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And people's sensitivity is just so ramped up that even if you
a woman and they're like, no.
And you know what? It's like an abuse problem.
Right.
And does it suck? Yes. Is it going to take people a while to get over this? Yes. So if the writers in particular want to make sure that this isn't a problem, and the producers in particular need to stay far away from the writers, well, see, that Darren, this I actually agree with, and not because it was Carol saying
that wasn't my fault.
I totally agree that someone of that age and of that position, for someone who sacrificed their life, that was an absolutely uncalled for slight on her part.
No.
This totally
1,000 years old. She gives no fracks anymore. She was trying to be nice, and then she's like, "Well, who am I kidding? I don't need to be nice. I don't." Need
Carol Kane's character, I get the feeling that she's going to be. Yeah, I don't really give a crap.
And you know what? I don't really need that. That's not what I wanted out of her.
Brian, to answer Brian's question, she said that Hemmer was one of her best students, and then she was like, I don't know why. I guess he wasn't.
It's like he was just average or something.
He was just average. I just said that because he's dead.
Yeah.
I thought it made me laugh. I thought it was. I got a dark sense of humor, I guess. I thought it was.
Yeah, but again, it's like last week's episode. If I was watching Star Trek Ugly Betty, I could give it a 9.
Look,
if I'm watching, like Lower Decks version of this, fine.
Last week is done. Okay, we can.
Yeah, but the problem is the totality of all of this is based around the fact that
it was a fever dream. Just like Star Trek V was a fever dream. That's
I got the fever.
I got a fever, and the only prescription.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Deuterium. Yeah.
So she's trying to figure out because we haven't even gotten to her the opening credits yet. So
let's get going.
Yeah. All right, so they're having a lovely see, so you look in her direction, it's red, so that's the front of the ship.
Yes.
I just think that's cool.
Yeah.
That's where the actual collector is.
Yeah.
She's looking at
this was nice. This was nice. I like this. What did you think of this? It was nice to see Hemmer And this wasn't something this was new stuff that was shot. You know what I mean? This, we didn't see this before.
It was new stuff that was shot, but it looks like they kind of fudged the makeup a bit. And especially like if you'll notice that he doesn't talk into the camera very much. Most of the time when he's talking, he's either looking away from the camera or in a profile, and you barely see his mouth move. And I think it's because part of it's either a stunt guy or whatever, or they just didn't want to go through the full makeup process, because I know it was a very difficult one for him.
Well, I tell you what, the zombie version of him, that had to be even more makeup. That was
I don't think that was him though.
You don't? Okay.
I think that was
that could have been anybody just wearing a Halloween mask.
Yeah, if they're not talking, it can literally be anybody under that much makeup.
Okay.
And so, but yeah, so basically she's got a YouTube video. This is what YouTube's going to look like in the 23rd century, by the way, folks. So if you're ever wondering,
vintage L cars around the edge, and
notice she's watching it in 6754p. But yeah, so that's a nice little setup. And yeah, like right here, look at that. That looks like a mask.
Well, more than it normally does. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can see, like if you look right around his eyebrows, you can see the edges of it. And I think that they had to rush the makeup for this, and which like I said, I'm not going to fault them for it, because I do think that having these videos is something Uhura would do, and then going back and referring to them if she needed to do something with the communications array makes perfect sense. And it's just kind of neat to think. You just think about like one of those episodes when Uhura is soldering things back together underneath the console of the bridge from the original series. I wonder if she's got a Hemmer video under there with her, trying to look up where something is.
Oh, Yosef.
That
is so special to my heart, because being an IT guy, like 1/3 of everything that all IT people run to happens to be some tutorial
I
video.
hate in-house IT, because you always call it, hello, my name is Chip, how can I help you?
Wow. Racist much?
No, that's a fact.
Okay.
It's just a bad accent, that's all.
All right, so meanwhile, this is the scene I was talking about during my hot take. Look at the size of Pike and Una compared to everybody else on the crew, and it's just kind of hilarious.
Well, it's that classic thing that the average actors and actresses are usually only between like 5'5" and 5'7", and those two are both in boots as good as 6 feet. That matters.
Why'd you move it?
So
that was perfect.
So when they go sailing down the hallway, it's like, yeah, all y'all are little people.
But if you look at the way the way that they're walking and talking, and there's a couple of moments there, just the way that they're looking at each other and smiling at each other when they're talking about, yeah, well, you're going to go over there and bust some butts. And she's just like, oh, yeah, I can't wait. And so she's going to go do her favorite thing in the whole wide world. Then Uhura finally gets on the turbo lift, and that's when she sees, Ghost Hemmer.
Zombie Hammer.
Yeah.
So
I'd say Zombert, but that works for Minecraft only.
Yeah. And add another 2 or 3 inches of Pike
for the hair.
And
yeah.
Pike's hair was on point in this episode.
I think it's been growing back out as they were shooting this season. Yeah.
Come on, Jason, you got to give this one a bonus point for Pike's hair.
I'll give it a half a bonus point for the on point hair.
Okay.
It's already getting a full bonus point because it played with my Hammer heartstrings.
So this thing, is really creepy. I can understand why they bring it back a couple of times, because that's
yeah, they need to use that at the Universal Haunted Hollywood thing that they that they do in Halloween. The Hall of Horrors.
And Brian, why would the hallway be so curved? Would it be curved with such a large primary hall desk? Remember, it's not on the outer edge of the hall. On the outer edge of the hall is the officers' quarters, and so it's on the inner side is labs and stuff like that. So so it's inside from the quarters, and it's not as big a ship as a lot of people think. So it is to scale with TOS. So
yeah.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Earlier, when we were talking about Pike being the fleet captain, in the preview for the crossover, the TOS episode,
those old scientists, yeah,
exactly. Pike's got his regular,
right? Because he said it was only temporary while he was doing this operation.
Yeah.
Which is too bad. I like that badge.
It was cool, right? Kind of reminded me of like later in like the movies. Didn't they have a badge like that in the movies?
That's what the badge looked like in TMP or in the first season. Well, in TNG actually. That's what
was it.
Like.
Okay.
It's just that the background wasn't black.
Yeah.
But yeah, I liked it. And let's see. All right,
we finally got to the opening credits. My God!
Credits. All right. So, by the way, it seems like they're getting their money's worth out of that digital piece of Uhura's brain on the screen.
I know, right? We've seen it a few times.
Yeah. They're like, okay, we got your brain up. Anytime we're going to do an episode with somebody's brain, it's got to be Uhura.
Yeah.
So Mbenga says it's deuterium poisoning, and then she also has exhaustion and takes her off of work until she gets some rest, which pisses her off. But and then they get on the station to try and fix things. The station definitely looks a lot, and this is by the way, props to the set design here. This station looks very industrial. I mean, granted, this is the only location on the station we really see, but it looks very, very industrial compared to on the Enterprise. It looks all nice and shiny and happy and everything.
Shiny, happy people.
And boy, Una's just going to eat Carol Kane for breakfast right here.
Oh man, she's so short and she's so tall. I just thought at one point she just, in a mashup, it just whomp her, just one arm, just bop. Sit down.
I want to see that fight. I'd sell tickets. So yeah, it's obvious they don't get along too well, and she's trying to figure out what the problem is. Meanwhile, Uhura's sleeping. And she wakes up and she's having another weird vision. This time she's at some remote location, which we'll find out more about later. And she wakes up. And then we get the big reveal that Kirk's coming by. By the way, interesting point. It's obviously not this guy at the transporter right here, but there is a reference in dialogue to Chief Kyle again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
you had the subtitles up, did you?
No, I heard it when I was just.
Okay.
It just happened to jump out at me when he says, "Oh, tell Chief Kyle at the transporter room." Blah blah blah, and I was like, "Oh, hey, Chief Kyle, cool." But we didn't see him. So Cinnabon, if you're out there, Asian Kyle is back. Unless it's the introduction of White Kyle, you never know. And so Kirk shows up. And Sam and Kirk go have a drink because that's what bros do.
That's what bros do.
So now, what did you think? Okay, a couple of things here. I've heard some people say the bar is stupid. I've heard people say that Kirk and Sam's brotherhood rivalry is stupid. So I want to get you guys to take on those.
I disagree with both. Go ahead.
I have no issue with the rivalry because they're still young enough.
Mm-hmm.
There's still a few more years to get more adulty. but the bar and the mess hall, I don't. Okay, if I was on a cruise ship, that would be a great place to go.
Mm-hmm.
Not a cruise ship.
True, not a cruise ship.
So I'm at best ambivalent about its presence in this show,
Right.
because I don't find the set itself off-putting, but I think it's a little ridiculous.
Right.
I really liked when Sam greeted Kirk and Sam or James, and Sam's like, "Would you like a tour of the ship?" And James says, "As long as it ends at the bar."
Right.
I like that because I just felt like something Kirk, like James T. Kirk.
So
would
just
say.
to correct, since Chief Cook gets hung up on the dumbest things, no, Kirk's stripes are not wrong. Okay, they even talk about it. He just got the promotion. He's going to become the first officer.
Hasn't happened yet.
But yeah, he's got to wait until his replacement is trained before he can take the promotion.
That was literally a line of dialogue in this episode.
So he is about to become a lieutenant commander, but he is not a lieutenant commander yet. So get over it, dude. Anyway, I like the bar overall, except I think the chandelier thing is a bit much. But
I mean, I dig it. I have no problem with it at all. I mean, if they had the technology and the money in the 60s,
we got a new Kyle.
Like this.
Irish
Kyle.
Remember, that was Riley, I think you might be thinking of. Those.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the bar, I like the idea of the bar being there, because you would think that, okay, this is a ship that's equipped to go on missions as long as 5 years, with only brief stops to resupply and stuff like that. And so on a trip of that length, you're going to want a place for the officers to unwind. And this is basically an officers club. That's what we're
10 Forge is just their version of it.
But I'm just saying, that's what we're looking at here. This is the officers club. And I don't think that that's a problem.
I could see if you deleted that chandelier, I'll let it go 100%, because I don't disagree.
Windows, by the way.
Yeah, I don't disagree with your premise, and these ships do have an enormous amount of interior volume, way more than anybody ever used to give them credit for. So unlike the constraints of a submarine, for instance,
right.
and
we're not talking about a little cylinder in space. So
no. And unlike on a carrier, a modern carrier, where you shove 6,000 people in there because you're manning an air force of 110 aircraft, all of this space is intended purely only for the crew to service just the ship. And the ship is so heavily automated, there's lots of space. But the chandelier definitely is too much.
Oh, Random Menace. That was dark, bro. That's not funny.
Chandelier, Picard's mom is there cosplaying again.
Wow, and that's way worse than what Carl Kane said. But anyway, but I like the presence of the bar. I like the fact that there's no exterior windows, because that kind of indicates it's in the interior of the ship, which makes sense because the exterior of the ship should all be officers' quarters.
Now, I do have to add one small funny kind of thing is both this bar and even the mess hall come with the ambient music that gets played in both areas. Both the whole ship is starting to basically feel like the 1950s to me.
But hold the phone on that. I will tell you, and I almost did this at the intro instead of the thing with the
guy at the place,
Yeah, instead of the fleet captain thing, I almost did this where the AI bird was going to complain about the bar, and because if you compare this bar to the bar from Court Martial, and you listen to the music, bam, they fit. They could be the same place. You just change the decor a little bit, and even look at the style of the seats. Those are the same kind of seats.
I got a seat that looks almost exactly like that in my bathroom.
I have one of those kind of seats, but it's black. And
mine's white.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have the circle at the bottom.
You know what else this actually actually, the funny thing is I won't swear to this for sure.
I think TOS's Kyle was English, actually, if I remember correctly. Wasn't Kyle English?
I don't remember.
I know he ended up being...
That's a deep cut. That's deeper than I know.
He ended up being a comms officer on the Reliant in Star Trek 2. But I think he's English.
So when we were driving to Florida this spring, we stayed, one of the hotels we stayed at was a True, spelled TRU, because being hip, by Hilton. And the whole main entryway actually has this exact kind of vibe because it's trying to be all hip and retro, neo, whatever. And there could be a person waiting to check you in standing behind that bar.
Yeah, I'd dig it.
Ow! 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 Stop!
Hi, Goku.
Ow!
Yeah,
you called it. Ow! It's my fault. I got to clip his nails.
But you really do sound like an abused woman. It's my fault.
Oh, if I clipped his nails, it wouldn't hurt.
Anyway, so as far as the rivalry, I think it makes sense because Kirk is the adventurous type. He is a lot like his father. If his father in the Kelvin timeline, from what we saw, right up, because he was the same guy until Nero showed up. So that if that was. If that's
Stanley, the cat is coming with me. I love my cat. I love this cat more than most humans.
You're stupid then. But you should just leave the cat there for the next people.
No.
See, it's not just me. Brian agrees.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, that's whatever. Whatever.
It's the hotel bar.
Right. All right, so then Kirk's sitting there drinking, and they're still working. And this is where she reports she found evidence of sabotage.
I like this scene. Don't gloss over.
This is a good scene. Now, and this is where, for once, out of all the crap they've done with Spock, they show clearly Spock is many times smarter than a typical person when it came to the chess game, because she'd have to sit there and think and study, make her move, and then he just.
Bam.
Think and study, think and make move, and he just, And so I really like that process because that's how a Vulcan would play a typical human.
Yeah.
And Kirk even called it that the only reason he got in trouble was because Uhura came over and distracted him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I really like, which of course Kirk, being the strategist, is watching Spock and sees, how do I beat this guy? And so it's like, distract him. And then I start thinking about Where No Man Has Gone Before. Sure, don't know what annoyed is. So they decide, she gives a really bad Schrodinger's cat analogy.
Well, so I thought it was interesting that Spock was the one who was like, hey, I think we should tell Starfleet we're going steady. And she's the one that's been pining for him for a season and a half. She's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. I think we should see where this goes. Like with that analogy,
But the weird thing too is that she's not even technically Starfleet.
Yeah.
She's a civilian contractor. So is it really fraternization? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it would be because she's assigned to the Enterprise right now.
Yeah.
But I guess they can set up the regs however they want.
Yeah.
So
I love how she's like, it's how nobody follows the orders part of doctor's orders.
Yeah, which is so true.
Well, that's like death and taxes.
Yeah.
So Uhura figures out that it couldn't possibly be the deuterium because she experienced the effects before she should have been exposed. And so she and Spock I like that her and Spock's a little back and forth about logic. And then they just come up with, you should probably get some rest. And she's like, I don't want any rest. I want to drink.
I love how when she brings up Sam.
By the way, check the bottle here. Bam.
Oh yeah, it's the right bottle and the leather and the everything. Oh yeah, and I very much like the fact that they wrote it in that Kirk calls her out on her being all, "You're just trying to hit on me."
Right.
Yeah, but I also thought it was funny that he equated it to like, oh, you think I'm hitting on you because Sam's talking smack about me.
And just say, Daniel, I'm not ignoring your comments. We're reviewing the episode. So we're not really reading everybody's comments very much. So relax. Not that kind of live stream. All right. So Kirk introduced himself to Uhura. They have a nice little chat, but she's like, yeah, I don't need any help, blah, blah, blah. And this is also another interesting thing that goes against the whole woman message, whatever you want to call it thing. Is she's like, yeah, I don't need any help, and goes off to do it by herself and immediately falls on her face.
Yeah, that's why I said what I said.
No,
earlier.
she didn't fall on her face. Her fist fell on Kirk's face.
Right. No, but
yeah, but she still failed.
Yeah.
Like she still failed in her attempt. Now I didn't mind her accidentally popping him in the face because frankly, even though some people might see it as strong women, the reality is it actually shows her being even more wrong.
Yeah.
So Brian, as far as we know, despite what they showed on Discovery, there is no synthahol on this ship.
Yeah.
But everybody knows the good stuff is in Pike's
so much
quarters.
for hanging out with us. You have a good night.
See you, Yosef.
Yeah.
Assalamu
And
alaikum,
Daniel,
brother.
get over the William Shatner thing. He's never coming back. Just stop.
He's 90 years old. It's gone. It's over.
Yeah.
There's
That
3 seasons of a
timeline has
show
been-
on Netflix you can go and
Daniel,
watch if you want to see it.
Shatner to come back as Kirk, there is free deep fake software you can get on the internet. Knock yourself out, buddy. Just knock yourself out.
Yeah.
That's the only chance you got, to be honest.
But yeah, so that's why I said everything the way I did earlier about the issue with the writing in women and men is that they're actually overall this series has not been that bad with that at all. But
Yeah,
because
I know,
because everybody's sensitivity in general has been so dialed up, everything stands out.
I think in a way, maybe there's a little bit of that, but in a way, I think it kind of shows people's true, like, so again, I hate to throw this dude under the bus, but frack him, I will, because he's said it a million times on his channel. I'm not saying anything he hasn't said, but one of his biggest problems with Strange New Worlds is, look at all the fracking, and he didn't say fracking, women on the bridge. What the? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, what is your problem? Like, come on, like, so what? Like
if they were all
cage,
if they were all Michael Burnhams, then yeah.
But
complaint valid.
Hey, if either one of them was like Michael Burnham,
right?
Yeah.
But none of the characters on Strange New Worlds are like Michael Burnham.
None of them
are
unsufferable.
I'm actually warming up to Nurse Chapel this season.
Oh, see, I've always liked Nurse Chapel, but that's...
No, but I hated Nurse Chapel.
I know you did. So I'm glad you're warming up to her.
Yeah.
So neither of you saw the Dial of Dysentery, right?
Wow.
Or Dial of Destiny. Sorry. So Phoebe Waller-Bridge is even worse than Michael Burnham. She is so insufferable.
All right, we're not going down that rabbit hole.
No, I'm just saying there's nobody remotely like that as far as female characters go.
No, exactly. Yeah, this series has been clean of that. There was yesterday's last week's episode, and that's basically been it.
Yeah. So, is it okay for Kirk and Spock to know each other before Kirk becomes captain? Well, the only thing we knew is that Kirk and Spock knew each other well by the first episode.
Yeah, so I didn't have a problem with that.
There's no...
I've recently gone back.
No description of when they met.
So remember now...
Until now.
the first episode that was aired is not really the first episode. So if you go back and watch where No Man,
right, but it doesn't matter. It's every episode of TOS. There's no indication of when Kirk and Spock met.
Right, but I'm saying
specifically
in because I watched it recently.
Right,
in where No Man has gone before, Spock is still not. I guess Leonard Nimoy hadn't found his character.
Right, he was still smiling.
Still smiling. And there was a comment that indicated that Kirk and Spock had met before, and I'll find it before next week.
Well, because remember that wasn't the very first time the Enterprise went on a mission or anything.
Yeah.
But
so I want to address this one. I want to speak to,
Okay.
And it's important.
And what up, Captain
because,
Phantom Nerd?
This kind of issue here ties into what I've been kind of off and on again discussing continuity versus consistency, and where's the cutoff point for when we drop, cut anchor and run, or cut bait and run, or however you want to say it. But the reality is if this was a prequel to TOS, there should be absolutely nothing but humans on this ship ever. Because if we go by classic TOS specifications, all the ships were always crewed specifically only by the planets from which they effectively serve. So every ship that had Andorians on it was still a Starfleet, Constitution or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Well,
but it would be all Andorians.
Called an Earth vessel.
You guys really got to let go of this canon. This is an alternate.
No, I know, but this is what I mean. I'm not glomming onto it. I'm bringing this up as this is the danger of when we do go down that rabbit hole too far, is because you would have to really, really pare back the kinds of stories you could tell, the kinds of situations you could set up, if we were to really lock hard. And that's again why, frankly, they just need to reboot. Or just,
I can't see Jason's beautiful Canadian face. Can we get rid of this while he's there? You go.
Fridge, or just fridge the whole damn show and then come up with something else.
Yeah,
because they should just say, okay, Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks. That's the beginning of Trek. Because
something,
Oh my God, have you seen? Or no, you haven't. Never mind. Have you seen the preview for next week's episode?
Did you not? Well, were you not paying attention to the beginning of this very live stream? Of course you weren't, because you never pay attention.
Wow.
He had a clip. He had a clip of Boimler.
I guess I missed it. Oh, I was late. Remember, I was late.
Yeah. No, but you were.
You were sitting down.
I got here 2 seconds. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it was when I ended it with Boimler going computer end program.
That was fun.
because he thought he was.
He thought he was in the holodeck or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking very forward to next week's episode.
And the nice thing is, it looks like, because I'll say this, and this is something Darren's talked about in the past, and I hate to compliment Darren, but he's very correct about this, is that the reason that Trouble with Tribbles works so well as a comedic episode compared to garbage like we got last week is because they didn't have to fundamentally change any of the characters in Trouble with Tribbles. They just...
What the fuck? Never mind. The Spock, he's like, what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I thought there was actually a problem.
For a second.
No, but you didn't have to fundamentally change any of the characters. You just put the characters in a very oddball situation. And then let it play out. And that's what they did. Kirk was Kirk, Spock was Spock, but then you had these weird, cute, fuzzy creatures, and it made for a fun, lighthearted, silly episode. When you look at the preview, at least, that scene of Boimler waking up in sickbay, which I watched that scene like 3 times just before this live stream, because I just downloaded it then. And I love the fact that Boimler is acting like Boimler from Lower Decks, but everybody around him is just acting like the crew from Strange New Worlds. And they're like, what is wrong with this guy? Why is he such a spaz? And you know, and I love like when Pike is just like, yeah, you can relax. We know you're from the future. You know, he's like, oh, okay, good. And that's exactly how Boimler is, you know,
in the cartoon. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm you know, I like the fact that Boimler's. Oh, okay.
Oh, he's got a triple.
Is that what you do to your cat?
I was gonna say. I'm looking off. I'm off axis, and then I hear this noise, and what am I missing over here?
he cut his cat into pieces.
Yeah.
But Boimler was still acting like Boimler, and the rest of the crew is acting like that, and it looks like it's going to be a fun and weird.
It does, and they in the pictures that they showed earlier on the internet, I didn't quite see the purple hair. I really saw the purple hair.
Yeah, you could really see it in this scene. This was the first time you really got a good look at him.
Yeah.
Because they actually had close-ups on him and stuff.
Yeah.
And but the thing I really liked was that, you know, in the shot in the little shots we've seen of him before, he was being very sedated. And Boimler is a spaz. And in this scene, he was more in the spaz mode. So that's what I wanted to see.
So there's only 10, right? 10 episodes this season, or 12?
Yeah. So there's only 3 left.
Okay.
So there's this one. One of them is going to be a big Gorn one, obviously. Maybe, you know, so maybe they're saving that for the finale.
Maybe.
But anyway, and you know, the Gorn were mentioned again in this one. So then she gets a really nasty vision of lots of dead people and confronts an evil version of herself. So we get an evil twin. Is this our first evil twin of Strange New Worlds?
I think so.
Yeah, so our first evil twin is Uhura. Who would have called that one? what were the Vegas odds on that? On Uhura being the first evil twin? And boy, she was vicious with that knife.
Yeah.
So Uhura does a couple of good moves to dodge and throw a punch, and she actually ends up hitting Kirk. And, you know, now that's a good shot of him. Now, I want to say something about this, because I just know that out there in the tubospheres, people are going to talk about how Uhura decked Kirk and how he's cowering in fear and bleeding and all that. He is not cowering in fear. He's not even in any serious pain. He's worried about her.
Yeah.
That's his only concern right now. His concern isn't the fact, you know, because he was trying to basically calm her and get a hold of her, and she hit him. He wasn't even trying to defend himself. And now he's trying to get up and just like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? He's not worried about himself. And so this is still a character who's clearly physically a stronger character. But you know, so when he took that punch, he just took the punch. He wasn't fighting her and lost. He took a punch from her purposefully. And so I just, you know, and Kirk would never hit a woman, which he said in Charlie X.
Hey, look, this is just the foreplay before they kiss in like 9 years. You know, that's all it is.
And right here, I really like the fact that she's like, well, let's get you to sickbay. And he's like, no, I don't want you to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because he realizes that there's something real going on here. So, and since she's just an ensign, you know, she would get a serious write-up that would go on her permanent record for decking a superior officer. You know, that's not good. But, you know, since she happens to have a dermal regenerator in her quarters, they just take care of it on the down low and talk about the whole situation. So they get the idea that he's going to take her medical records over to the Farragut in order to see if anybody over there has had similar symptoms, weird noises and hallucinations. Meanwhile, they go down to the and find Crazy Boy. So what do you think of Crazy Boy? I think, man, you were talking about acting. Some of the guest stars, man, they did good with guest stars this season so far. He really knocked it out of the park. I don't know who this guy is, but he was crazy.
Oh, I don't know if I was supposed to. I felt sad for the motherfucker.
Oh, I felt horrible for him because
Yeah.
obviously he was just an engineer working on the station.
Yeah.
And his brain happened to be compatible with the aliens like Uhura's. But he basically,
Yeah, and then later when they go through his personal logs and man, it's just I felt even worse for him, even though he killed that chick somehow.
Don't know, yeah. So that's kind of it's really a pathetic story. It's very sad.
I think it was like a laser scalpel. That was the only thing that was running through my mind when we
And
get to
Professor
that sick
Brady's
bay
dead?
scene.
Yeah.
You weren't paying attention if you say, why didn't we get a glimpse of the Farragut? You get a couple of glimpses of the Farragut.
We get don't we get a side by side shot? We see both.
No, we don't get a nice side by side, which would have been good. But when the station is being evacuated, you do see the Farragut and one other starship leaving the station.
Okay.
Which
no, the side by side Farragut shot was in the alternate reality episode,
the Bounce Terror one.
Yeah.
But and then there's another shot I think earlier in the episode where you see it near the station and it's quite a distance away. We never see a close up of the Farragut, but you do see it like once or twice.
The guy who played the crazy engineer has
Yes.
been in a decent number of things. So yeah, he's a reasonably accomplished, at least supporting actor.
Well, like I said, he knocked it out of the park for me. He gave a great performance.
Yeah.
Loved him in this. Too bad he's on strike now. All right, so Uhura, back in her quarters, all of a sudden the ship goes to red alert, and so she instinctively runs up to the bridge. Now, the interesting thing, of course, we know after the fact this is all one of her hallucinations.
Yeah.
So imagine everybody else on the bridge as Uhura boldly comes in, and remember, she sees what she sees, but they all just see Uhura doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Which they actually address in the closing scenes.
Right.
Yeah,
at the end of the show.
Think of like Waltar
Knight says, "Aren't you supposed to be
right?"
Yeah.
But it would have been really interesting to have seen this scene twice, like to see it when they're all like
right, her perspective and then everybody else's.
Yeah, as she just busts in and says, "What's the situation, Captain?" and sits down, and they're all like, "Huh?"
What?
Yeah. So,
situation.
Yeah,
dude. I tell you what, though, I'm not I'm not getting into the continuity thing, but this is a perfect example of how there's no. They either something like this really happened and they changed in the refit of the Enterprise by the time Kirk gets it. And he's like, I don't want a damn window. I just want a view screen. Or this is a totally alternate timeline because this is not. This ain't a thing. This ain't a thing.
Yeah, this is not standard issue on anything pre-2009.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Canonically, though, the USS Franklin had a window similar to this, just smaller.
Okay.
Franklin?
Yeah, the USS Franklin from Star Trek Beyond canonically predates this ship in the prime timeline.
Yeah, but I'm talking from production perspective. I know.
Yeah.
Headcanon is a great place to live.
Canon is canon, man. You can't pick canon. So,
but you can pick your nose. So
yeah,
there you go.
I also want to point out that the people say this is why you shouldn't have a windshield in front of the bridge. Well, it's not. It would never actually shatter like that. This is a weird psychotic vision that the aliens kind of gave Uhura.
Oh, so you're saying it's a transparent aluminum, huh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's actually that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's not glass. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we know?
Could you imagine if it was just glass and someone like accidentally, someone got mad and threw their communicator at it and it cracked?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Someone has a full-on like old person fit, whips the hammer that dinged their finger across the room.
Yeah.
Blows the window out.
But this, especially if you look at this particular angle, this looks like some old pictures from the late 50s, early 60s of concept designs for the bridge that they just couldn't do because of budget.
Yeah.
So I think that This bridge is based very much on the some of the original concept pictures of the bridge. It's just a much curvier version of the bridge.
Well, you know, when you're stuck using rear projection and plywood and
Right,
paint
yeah, you're limited
from
to
the 5 and dime.
Yeah.
You know. Stanley says Gorilla Glass.
It's made for Gorilla Glass. Yeah. So this is and like I said, I like this interaction between Pike and Uhura, where they kind of sit down and kind of.
He's like, not only does my crew need to be physically capable, they need to be mentally capable. It's basically politely kind of calling her crazy.
Yeah, but she obviously she knows.
Your picnic is short of a few sandwiches, my lady.
So this is the, of course, meeting of Kirk and Pike, and look at that hair. That right there. That's a point.
Oh yeah, that's
right there. That is a point of hair right there. Yeah, Enterprise. Yeah, Riker would throw the joystick.
Insurrection, man.
Yeah. So they scan Crazy Boy's brain, and he's affected the same way as Uhura, except that basically the areas of the brain are kind of burnt out in his, which could be because of more exposure, or maybe he was more susceptible to it. It's not really clear.
Well, no, Uhura,
I would assume.
Sorry, Uhura brings it up later in the episode. The longer exposure fried out.
Yeah. He was there for way longer.
100% sure, but yeah, but he was stationed there, so
yeah,
it was probably increased exposure.
Yeah.
You know, it'll all be in Sam's paper.
Yeah.
No, Brian, if you go back and you watch the start of the episode, you'll see that in Menagerie they very much talk about it.
Yes, they actually that was one of the things I loved about it. It's Kirk, Spock, and the Commodore walking down, about to go to see Pike, and the Commodore's talking about.
Hold on, I'll play it.
Yeah, just crank it up. Why not?
And then Kirk's
it'll be 18 seconds of Toad, and then you'll see. I promise it's only 18 seconds.
Does this help you not get claimed or something? I don't get it.
I always make the intro exactly 5 minutes long.
All agents are currently assisting other customers. Please stay on the line, and your call will be answered in the order it was received.
I've already got a migraine. Oh.
Lieutenant Kirk.
That's right. It's an honor to meet you, sir.
Look, you guys all know that I hate this show, but I cannot take this lying down. Well, I guess technically I have to, but I can't. This kind of willful, blatant, flagrant Bobbyism, uncaring about existing canon, just bothers me more than anything else about this so-called new Trek. I mean, if just one of those so-called writers would have bothered to watch the classic episode, The Menagerie, they could have fixed this by just watching this scene.
You ever met Chris Pike? We met when he was promoted to fleet captain.
Now, I'm sure that Salty, like all the other shills, was going to have some kind of excuse as to why it doesn't matter to them.
Congratulations on your promotion to fleet captain.
About why the fabric of the shirt has changed.
There we go.
I thought you were going to show just the TOS clip, because he even
Well,
says
I get
when he's walking, after he says, he met him when he got promoted to fleet captain, he goes, and Mr. Spock served with him for several years on the Enterprise. That's his next line. You know what I mean? So
right. Spock says, 14 years, 13 months, 17 days.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously they had that established. So Crazy Man, because his brain's broken, can't understand them. You know what they could have tried is have Spock try to do a mind meld with him. Wouldn't that be trippy?
Yeah.
Probably would have not been a good outcome for Spock. But yeah.
And so he's like, yeah, I'm done.
Professor Brainy Specs, what's sloppy? What's very sloppy? What do you mean? Come on. Clarify. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Brian, all fleet captain is that he's designated as the captain of a fleet. He's still just a captain. It's not a promotion in rank.
Well, it kind of is because he gets to tell like the captain of the fair. He
he doesn't have to play rock paper scissors with any other captain.
Right?
Yeah.
The captain of the station commander and the captain of the farragut, and if there's a captain on that other starship, they simply can't argue with him. His word goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So she's like, "This isn't happening. This isn't happening." Kirk's like, "Yeah,
this isn't real. This isn't real." He's like, "No, this is very real." Yeah.
So what do we do? Give crazy lady a gun.
Yeah, that I kind of
that I said that was the dumbest thing in this episode. I will dock it a point for that one because I did not like the fact that
I didn't like
massive hallucinations. Already decked Kirk, and it's like, here, take this phaser. Let's go.
Not just that, and you have to deduct a point for when Kirk sees that she has another episode. He lets her go back to sickbay alone. And she never makes it back to sickbay. He should have escorted her back to sickbay. It would have made no sense.
Well, he basically trusted her too much, but he couldn't get into her head, so he didn't really. I'm not going to deduct a point just for that, but for giving her a gun,
yeah.
I do like they showed these panels hold, emergency equipment, so he grabs a flashlight when they need it.
Although I'm pretty sure I've seen that flashlight for sale on Amazon.
Yeah, world's most powerful flashlight.
Yeah.
They find a crew person who's obviously been assaulted, and unfortunately doesn't look like she's going to make it.
Oh no, they mention it later. She dies.
By the way, here's one of those little, I guess, Easter egg. It looks like her wound was from a Lurpa. Right from Amok Time.
Ouch.
That's what it
was. Right across the belly.
That's what it would have looked like for real if that.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Look at that hair. Look at that hair. Man.
Somebody's got some serious hair envy going on here. Wow.
I'm just appreciating the man's hair. Yeah.
His stylists are to be commended.
Yes. I mean, I'm not jealous. I got great hair. Your hair sucks, but I got great hair. So not worrying about it.
All right. Well, we're in overtime now. Let's pick up.
So, no problem. So Crazy Uhura and Kirk are searching for him, and then she starts to have a hallucination. And he's like, you okay? And she's like, yeah, I can hold it together. And he doesn't say, hey, why don't you give me the phaser?
Right? Maybe I should take that.
Yes. Just in case, I was half expecting her to start seeing Gorn swarming the ship.
See, all my the only prop I have left is my tribble, my batleth, my phaser, my communicator. Everything's at my new place,
Well. So,
well, no. Normally, I would have pulled out my phaser.
Brian, the ratio of difference between now and the future is based entirely on budgetary constraints.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's also if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, come on, like how different is it going to be? It's
her neck
that shines light.
So now she thinks she's alone, and the entire place starts shrinking in. This is the one that got me the most because I'm claustrophobic, and man, that got me. But then Kirk pulls her out of it, and notice it was once again Kirk rescues her, and that's twice that he's pulled her out of it.
You know, my mother is a real Judas. She left us for some other channel. I don't even know where
she
she
does.
went. Yeah,
She's a horrible person.
Yeah, I gotta text her.
She's sitting at her house, snorting blow, smoking weed, and
Booger
watching
sugar.
She's
super anti-weed. No, she's super anti-weed. That I can trust me.
She's developed the attention span of a 3-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mr. Parker, who turned the gas station on? It was Paolo turned the gas station on, and they actually did say in dialogue that when they tried to do the emergency shutdown, that there was more damage than they had anticipated.
Yeah.
They did actually cover that in dialogue. So
yeah, that was locked down. Yeah, that part of the plot was
and Brian,
explained.
If my dear sweet mother went to my channel, she would have said something after all three of us just talked smack about her. So no, she's
last comment from her was at 9:23.
Yeah, she abandoned us. It's okay.
So 10
minutes
minutes ago.
I will show the Farragut when we get to that scene.
All right.
So then La'an catches up with him, and La'an sees Kirk. And my wife loved this, where when Kirk walked away, she's like,
No, man. So I wanted more, especially because in the previously they showed clips from their episode, and it was
think about it. Just that sigh from her, that is so humanizing for her compared to how her character has been for the first season and a half of the show.
Yeah. Okay, Mom gets a pass. She's still here. She made a little note. All right.
Oh, she was just too busy cleaning up.
She's like, I can't figure out where the buttons are. She does it on her phone. It's easier on the computer, Mom. Anyway.
Well, at least it's good and consistent that all of our mothers are like that.
Yes. So she figures out that he went up to the nacelle, and that's
why she was supposed to be going to sickbay. What the frack, man? What the frack?
Well, on the way, she figures it out, and so she's like, "Hey guys, I think I know where he is." And this is what now? Kirk says, "Okay, wait for me, I'm coming," but she doesn't.
She doesn't.
But now, I would say this: that is not out of character for Uhura. She is, she's fiercely independent, and this is the second time this episode.
Had she waited, the ship probably would have blown up.
Yeah, the ship would have been blown up if she had not gone up there. So it's kind of a good thing that she rushed up.
Yeah.
So she decides to climb up, and he's
you moved it. I did want to give a shout out because somebody in the chat mentioned Jeffrey's tubes earlier. There was a Jeffrey's tube right to the left of her in that shot.
Well, that's how she's going up.
No, she's going to the side of the Jeffrey's tube.
No. If you look carefully, see, she's got her light on it. And that's why she takes the cover off to expose the Jeffrey's tube right here.
Oh, okay, cool.
She takes the cover off.
All right. Well, don't play too. Okay. Yeah. All right. And it looks like the old school Jeffrey's tube. I love it.
Yeah, that's where she's going.
Yeah. Look at that face. I don't.
Daniel, do not say things like that. That's horrible.
What'd he say?
I don't know why you hate her so much.
Jeez Louise, dude.
Yeah.
Come on now.
So she's got her face. What did
she ever do to you? Oh, I get it. Daniel's just jealous because she got to kiss Kirk and he didn't. Okay.
Oh, dude. Now, by the way, here's a nice small little touch is that notice that they are doing proper finger position when they're holding their phasers.
I mentioned that last week.
Pike was doing that.
Or Pike. I call him Kirk. Pike did that last episode.
Yeah.
But so she's got the phaser on him, and she's trying to talk him down. I don't know. She may not really grasp the idea that he has no idea that she's even a human being.
He may, but he doesn't care anymore.
Right. His brain is just completely messed up. But she's pleading with him. But then they get into a little scuffle, and unlike some super woke show.
If this were woke, exactly.
Did not throw him across the room.
She got manhandled. What happened? Kirk saves the day.
Comes into the rescue. You know,
Exactly.
people want to say, oh, you know, and like Darren, who has abandoned us for whatever reason, was calling him James T. Cuck this whole time.
He's probably making another hate video about you with a clip from this episode.
He probably is. He was calling him James T. Cuck this whole time. This is the third time that he rescues Uhura, this time from a physical threat.
Yeah.
You know?
Emergency beam out, no! It's like...
And why did she stun him? Value, you know what? Uhura is not a combat, she's, you know, kind of officer, so she probably didn't think of, she's not security.
Well, she's been mousy even in season 1, so that, like the
if
whole
La'an had gotten up there instead of her, La'an would have just blasted him.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Uhura.
Dude's chest would have looked like Jesse the Body Ventura from a certain Predator movie.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Uhura's just not a combatant type. But yeah, so he grabs her, calls for the emergency beam out, and then, you know, nice piece of visual effects as the plasma blows.
No, like we've talked about this. He froze too fast. 1 and 2.
I said nice visual effects. I was about to comment on he shouldn't freeze really technically.
He shouldn't. It's okay to get a little condensation freeze on the surface, but he shouldn't freeze to a rock right away.
We had an episode not too long ago where Chapel and Mbenga are in space for a couple of seconds, and you know.
But notice it's not like, look, he's moving. I don't know if you could see that, but if you look carefully, his head is turning while he's moving. If you watch his neck as it goes around, his head is moving.
All right.
So he's not dead here. He's just kind of staring off. However, you know, we should be seeing like lesions forming on his skin and, you know, that kind of nastiness. On the anywhere where there's direct sunlight should be turning red. You know, it would be horrible.
Well, I can't remember who it was. Some scientist. It wasn't Neil deGrasse Tyson, but it was somebody else who was talking about realistically, you could survive a couple seconds in space, but you'd have to take a deep breath first and keep your eyes closed, because the second your eyes are exposed to space, they would just...
Well, they've done...
Actually, you have to blow the air out.
You want to blow the air out of you, because if you take a deep breath, you just turned yourself into a balloon, went out into a vacuum. Pop.
Right. So take the deep breath, exhale, but keep your eyes closed, because I remember him saying that your eyeballs would just...
In fact, if you want a good description of what you should do, watch Event Horizon.
Or to, you know, gush over my favorite hard science fiction, go back and watch season 1 episode of The Expanse, where the Rockhopper had to pull a loose wire out of his mask, and you watch, he'll all of a sudden exhale really strongly. Then he lifts his mask up, reaches in, pulls the wire out, pulls his mask down. His face is a little bit, you know, bluish because, you know, cold. And then he starts breathing again and continues on.
Now, was he facing into the shadow?
That I never paid attention to entirely. Oh, yeah.
If he was facing
Total Recall is so not how this works.
That is the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is where they declare the chick dead that they found.
Yeah. She got scalped.
Yeah. She's dead. And so, you know, the ship, he says the ship is nearly disabled. It's like, nearly, what would it take to disable the ship?
Here comes the scene that I wanted more out of. She doesn't even say anything. He's like, you still owe me that drink. And she just like,
well, I think that she was afraid, you know, she was afraid of where it would go. So she, you know, otherwise she would have. But
you know, I'm a big emotional sap. I hope they explore this a little bit more, because
I think they will.
I was so broken up at the end of that episode where she just bawled on the bed, because that was the first, like, La'an's character arc has been amazing, if you ask me, from the first time we met her to now. Like, she's done a lot of
what
growth.
are you smoking?
I have no idea what he's on about.
There's no oxygen in space.
I don't know. Anyway.
He's been hanging out with Darren Wagner too long. He's probably going to tell us the Earth is flat next. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. There's oxygen in space when you blow out into it, but not very much. Anyway, So yeah, she kind of blows off Kirk, but I get a feeling that the Farragut is going to be involved in the Gorn battle, and we are not done with La'an and Kirk. That's just my gut. I could
hope
be totally wrong.
I mean, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
You know, because I
Yeah.
want to pay off to that setup, man.
No,
But they've already been greenlit for season 3, so maybe they'll hold off till season 3. So
yeah, but I want more. You know, I know he doesn't look like Kirk. I know he doesn't sound like Kirk, but I do like this character. And
you know, he
so-
kind of there's a couple times where he kind of sounds like Kirk. He kind of reminds me of Kirk, but he just
well,
doesn't
he
look
gives
like
I don't know where it was. I must have missed it somewhere, but he gives Uhura I think it's coming up in just a second, so I'll skip to it in just a minute. Anyway, so then we get more. Look at that size. It's hilarious.
Well, she was a supermodel, so you know she's like.
I know, but I mean,
she's 5'10" and change, and in
Yeah.
boots she'd be basically 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And she is a walking frog. And so
be nice.
But yeah, she's like, you know, talking about how sloppy she is. But you know what? To me, that looks like an engineer. She's dirty. I love that. I love the fact that she's got.
Why do you have crumbs on you? What did you even get time to eat?
Yeah. She was probably eating.
See,
while
this is what drives me.
Pulling wires, you know.
If they could glue all these different things together in a better way, and I'm clearly not the only one that feels that way, because there's a lot of people that have been responding in kind. There's so much good acting and so much good interaction. Like, the people that are playing in this show have excellent chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
I freaking wish they could just glue this thing together with a way more engaging story. And just as an interesting comparison, I decided the last week or so to watch through the first season of Altered Carbon, and I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen.
Oh, I
Altered
actually
Carbon.
love that. I love that.
Altered Carbon is broken, but you know what? It is one of my favorite cyberpunk shows.
I loved Altered Carbon, and the second season's got Anthony Mackie as the same character.
All right, guys.
Yeah, but just from a, like, you can have broken elements in a show, but if you can glue the thing together with a really good, strong plot line through something, I don't care. I don't, because I'm entertained. But it's like I'm watching a bunch of shorts. It's like if this was Star Trek Short Trek, except good. But unfortunately, they're trying to make it an entire episode.
I see. I just disagree with you on. I think there are some things you could trim, and some things I would like to see expanded. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode.
I did too. This is the scene you were talking about, I bet, right?
Yeah. So we're coming up on it here. So they're going through Crazy
Yeah, this
Man's
is the logs. Yeah,
and listening to it, and all, and you know, she's realizing that she's like right there too, and she's like breaking down. And Kirk gives a proto Kirk speech,
dude. It's very similar to a speech he gives in a. I wish I could remember the name of the episode, but it's where. And never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
But anyway, but it's structured like a Kirk speech, and it's just the right amount of nudge to say, you know what? Yeah, death is winning. Yeah, this is bad. Yeah, this is bad. But you know what? We're going to move forward. We're going to deal with this, you know, and there's something.
It's going to bug me. There's an episode of TOS where he gives a very similar speech about death.
I think you might be thinking of Taste of Armageddon, where he's talking about what war, you know, death, destruction, mayhem. That's what war is all about.
Death, disease, destruction, mayhem.
Yeah.
That's what war is. That's what makes it a thing to be avoided.
You made it go.
That's not the speech I'm talking about. That's not the speech I'm talking about.
Well, but Kirk has tons of good speeches, but this feels like an early Kirk speech.
Yeah.
Like Kirk, and this is why this speech is why Kirk is becoming the youngest first officer in the fleet.
I can't believe. Now it's going to be stuck in my head all day. Death, disease, destruction, horror. That's what war is. Sorry.
And then he decides he's going to go get a cookie. Which is hilarious. They had this whole conversation about a cookie as he's given her this impassioned plea. And then they go to Sam, because she figures out that there must be some life form in the nebula, and they kind of put it all together. And
So I did want to say I did like, even though you kind of brush over it, I did like that scene because the brothers have had their little sibling rivalry. Last time we saw Sam, he chugs his drink, slams it down, walks off, and then Kirk, in a way, Kirk is, without saying it, or James T. Kirk, without saying it, is kind of admitting, "I need your help, brother." You are,
Right.
I like that symbolism there, But then it gets pooped on at the very end of the episode. But we'll get there when we get there.
I wouldn't say pooped on. I actually like it in the episode. Anyway, so Kirk and Uhura go to the bridge. In the turbo lift, she gets this gut-wrenching moment.
Oh, this is her family.
Seeing her
crashing.
parents and brothers shuttle crash.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing, you never see what she sees inside the shuttle. You just know she sees something horrible.
Yeah.
Like whatever she sees in front of her, it's not something that, you really want to see. But, it's not like the camera zooms in on the bodies or some crap like that.
Thank you for going over that real quick. That almost got me. I can't see beautiful women cry. It messes with me, man.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Go back a little bit.
No, don't you dare. Don't you dare. Why
I know.
I could even. Now you get. Oh,
I didn't mean to land on that one.
Gone.
That was a good shot. All right, we're past it.
okay.
So, and she is, to me, I think she's the hottest chick on the show.
Uhura?
Yeah.
I mean, I would have agreed with you, but after seeing La'an in that episode with Kirk, man, something's changed.
I got La'an in second.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But
We got eerily similar taste in women, other than Chapel. So there's that.
Chapel just needs to take a bath and get a hairstyle.
Get a haircut and get a real job.
Put on a dang uniform. Wear pajamas. Okay. So, Kirk doing his best Jim Carrey impersonation here.
You know what's funny? I wish we could play this clip. It's funny you say Jim Carrey, because I actually thought this was the only time I thought, wow, if you close your eyes, he's kind of got the Shatner cadence down in this scene.
Right, but he's not trying to do the voice. He just kind of
has the cadence.
He has a little bit of the rhythm.
Yeah.
And so he's they're trying to explain it to Pike. And this is where things go a little weird. So they're on the bridge, and Pike is like, okay, so right here we go. Professor Brainy Specs, Farragut.
What's that other ship?
Yeah, that's the other ship I was talking about.
Yeah, they never tell us what that is, huh?
Yeah,
no, there's several sizable ships that pull away from that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I said I saw the Farragut and one other starship. So there's the starship.
Yeah.
But there's the Farragut right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they order an evacuation of the station. And I don't know if there's two others or if you saw them from a different angle. Because I think that let's see, man.
No, Professor, that giant gas station is like V'ger size.
Yeah. This is the collector itself.
Yeah.
But these are like little shuttles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's only two like starship type.
You can see to the right of the screen, you see those two little you already moved. There, it looked like there was a ship in the distance over to the right.
Well, and if there are, that might be why they call them a fleet. There's one right there.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the.
Yeah. But here's one thing I did have a problem with. Why is Uhura the one saying like fire torpedoes. Shouldn't that be Pike? Or shouldn't Pike have
Well,
been
Pike
at least
did
like
say it's you.
He nodded to La'an, but it was
Oh, he did?
still
Oh, yeah.
stupid. I did not like
and
that.
and well, you know, I think it's one of those things that it's because it's her. It was basically her baby. It was her thing. She was the one that was, you know, it's his ship. Obviously, he was going to let her do, but it's like he said, "Okay, do whatever we need to do. You're the one communing with the aliens. You know, do what needs to be done." And so the Enterprise lobs a bunch of torpedoes, and
then in typical Papa Pike fashion, he tells Uhura not to worry. He'll take the heat. This was on him. It was his
I'm getting flack from Ariel.
Uh-oh, what happened now? Oh.
Me not liking that Uhura gave the command.
Didn't we he was a zombie first, right? Or was he not?
Yeah, he was a zombie for a second, then he became this, and then he smiles.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, it's hard to be super.
There it is. There's a smile, and then she smiles. Yeah.
Yeah, and when he smiles at her, she indicates that okay, yes, you know, we've successfully helped the alien.
Even though it's not really Hemmer, this was a kind of a feel good moment. It made me feel all warm and fuzzy in the tum tum. You know.
So yeah, despite what, Hemmer is not back. There's the full smile right there.
Yeah.
This was just basically aliens taking on a image that Uhura could understand.
Yeah.
You know, and of course Uhura is very close with Hemmer.
Yeah.
And then he fades away, never to be seen again.
Only in the kitchen. Oh man, Ariel's just laying into me here. Look at this.
Well, you know, truth is truth. I'm just saying.
Well, you know, technically, my wife is a restaurant manager,
so hey,
she's in the kitchen all the time.
That's I do not agree with these gentlemen. Just saying, not my stance at all.
I didn't say women have to be in the kitchen. It's Jason. I've been fully, you know, I've been totally in support of all the female characters on this show, except for in the last episode.
Yes, Brian. I think Brian missed the memo. Hemmer was killed off in episode 9 or 8.
Yeah, the Gorn episode of
the second Gorn episode.
Yeah, the spooky Gorn episode.
You know, it'd be great. It's like as Hemmer the ghost is starting to fade away, a Gorn just goes.
No, don't do that. No.
That's the lower decks edition. That's the corrupted Hollow program, lower decks. Well, yes, indeed, Brian. Everyone absolutely did like that character, which was both.
If it's not the Farragut, it's a ship that looks exactly like the Farragut.
We don't know if Scotty's coming aboard. To be honest, because you know Scotty wasn't in the Cage, and it seems like this show is trying its best to make Cage canon. You know, which it wasn't originally, which is why they had.
And by the way, okay, so let me say this. So someone said, Kirk doesn't look like Mercer. Said Kirk doesn't look like Mercer. Kirk doesn't look like Mercer. Kirk doesn't look like Kirk. Look, it's a different actor. Chris Pine doesn't look like Kirk.
Well, it kind of does in some shots, though.
They just give him the same hairstyle, you know. And there's a couple of shots in this when they catch him from the right angle, you know.
Actually, really, I don't like those.
Skinny, you know,
he's too skinny. He's got a pencil neck. He's too skinny, but I don't like those J.J. Abrams movies, but I actually really did like Chris Pine.
I did not. I hated Chris
Pine. I really like Chris Pine.
He should be like Anson Mount size, but a little shorter. And as far as height, maybe, you know, like maybe 2 inches shorter than Anson Mount.
Mercer says he's just complaining because it's the internet. Very well. Very well.
My actual only problem with the casting for Kirk is my brain just sees Vampire Diaries constantly.
I'm glad I never watched that show.
I only ever caught a few episodes of it, but it was enough to like instantly
So was he a vampire in that show?
He was one of the two main vampire guys.
Really?
See, I've never
Yeah.
seen that show, so that's
Me
not
either.
a problem I have to deal
It kind of
with.
seemed like a Skinamax version of a vampire show, from what I heard. Right? There's a lot of sex and needless gratuities, tits and stuff. Right? That's what I heard.
No, you're thinking of the. You're thinking of the. No, you're you're thinking of the one that was
True Blood.
Yeah, True Blood.
True
is the one
Blood.
That was,
True
Yeah,
Blood,
that was the
okay.
full on.
Actually, True Blood was not a bad show overall.
See, I never watched that one either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very graphic, though. I mean, I would not. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, it was the boobs and dragons of vampires.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But it was it was very well written. Unlike most shows today, and now everybody's striking because they won't.
He's like, all right, send that message and then go take a nap. That's an order.
Yeah. And make me a sandwich on the way out.
Yeah. Oh, see, you get that back.
What?
I don't know what I want.
There's still burnage. You watch. Hit play and then hit pause.
What,
There,
that?
look. See,
Right there.
No, yep. You let that play. There's way more burnage than with a tiny little flame in the
just
bottom right.
burning wreckage. It's not like it's gonna burn forever, dude.
I'm not gonna let it
All
go.
right, let's get to the. Let's
Trying
get
to
to
come
the.
up with something to complain about because you hate,
Let-
you hate
Yeah,
women
yeah.
so much.
Let's get, oh, there. See, there you go. See, there's
Yeah,
more of it.
yeah. There's
All right, so-
some nice burnage in the background.
Yeah.
That's a lot of burnage.
It's not going to keep burning forever. It'll burn for a few minutes, then it'll be done.
It would burn for a whole lot of zero if they had to tone it out.
Yeah, you know what? That thing was you were just saying, oh, that's like V'ger size. Then they ain't towing it out.
So anyway, get to the next scene because I thought it was funny.
I'm trying
because
to, but
I
idiot
know.
here-
Don't call them names. I know people like this in real life that hold grudges for getting a C in a class for like years later.
But no, it's not the C. I think she's right. It's because she replaced Hemmer.
Yeah, but the fact that she brought it up, I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
come on.
she's looking for something to hate her for. And so, and she sees right through it because, of all of her experience, because she's not a Lorian.
That's a good comment. At least I'm as constant as the Northern Star.
Right. So then they go back to the club where the jazz quartet is playing.
Hey, I was digging that.
I had no problem with it. Like I said,
little,
the music here could have been right out of TOS.
Yeah.
Because if you
but it's even early. I felt it felt way more like the 50s.
Well, yeah, but the thing is,
I almost expected to see Riker have a cameo. But
but in TOS, if
Jonathan
you ever
Frakes.
watch them go to a social occasion or a bar or something, it's always jazz, and it's this style of jazz.
I found it was either jazz that bordered on hippie music, or it was straight up hippie music.
It was.
Well, speaking of hippie, we totally
that one stupid episode.
We totally glossed over the fact that number one called Carol Kane
A space hippie.
A space hippie.
Yeah, that was a nice little callback.
That was funny.
That.
Yeah.
So everybody's hanging out in the bar, and then Kirk and Uhura are talking about how she can actually look at the pictures of her family again. And then Sam comes over. Oh, there's hey, everybody!
That's a really good pause.
Wow,
Yeah.
cross-eyed.
Yeah.
That's
You look like a cartoon
thumbnail
character
right there. I'm drinking for Trek.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay, so just a side note, I just had to validate Value of Nothing's comment, and I don't even know why. All he said was beyond stupid. They have no idea what a hippie is, and apparently YouTube was all, oh, my sensibilities.
Okay,
Some
so
of the
hippie-
things,
It's
some of the
about-
things that it blocks out is the weirdest thing.
Beyond stupid, they have no idea what a hippie is. What do you mean? Just because she was never called one? or because she called him.
No, I don't care about the. I don't.
Look, you have to understand, Brian. You have to understand someone like Una. If you don't know anybody who's a real military mindset kind of person, which I've known people like that when I was growing up, to them, if you have one hair out of place, you're a hippie.
I wasn't concerned with the comment. I was more
or a beatnik.
I was highlighting YouTube being weird.
It's not that she didn't know what a hippie was. It's that to her, you're either perfection or you're a hippie. There's nothing in between.
You know, you guys remember, like, before there were hippies, they were called beatniks, right?
No, beatniks are a totally different thing.
No, I could have swore that was just the early version.
No, do not. If you call a hippie a beatnik or a beatnik or a hippie, well, a beatnik will just smoke some weed and like go whatever, man. But a hippie
sounds like a hippie to me. Okay.
Oh, a hippie, they will get all commune on your ass. They will not be happy about it. Because but anyway, so then Uhura
Sam's here fishing for a thank you, or I'm proud of you.
He says, you really deserve, the fair gets lucky to have you. And then he's waiting for Kirk to apologize, and he doesn't. So Sam gets all pissy and leaves. And then the interesting thing is, let me see, we get to.
Hold up, though. Before he leaves, he stole Uhura's cookie. Did you notice that?
Oh,
yeah.
He
swiped it.
Yeah, Sam was so that's too far.
Sam was like full crusty there. He was just like, yeah.
So when Sam, I do like so Spock walks up and just says, frustrating, interrupting their and reaches in and grabs the glass, right? And then you see he just like grabs it, puts it on the waiter's tray, and then joins them. And do you get that reference?
Well, yeah, that's from the episode last week.
Yeah. So that's why he's saying.
So they both kind of have a bonding moment,
right? Because they both hate his brother.
Well, hate's a strong word, but yeah, I mean,
yes, they both find his brother annoying. That's the So Kirk and Spock.
This is their first meeting.
Yes,
and this is what I like. Here in a second.
And then later that night, the three of them share intimacy.
Shush. Go forward a little bit. I love this shot. It's one of my favorite shots in Strange New Worlds so far. No, you got to go. It's when he's going to sit down and the camera pans back. Right there. That's awesome to me. That's so cool. I don't know why, but I love it.
Yeah, the pull away for that was nice. I liked it too.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's like I was thinking, man, I would love to hear what they're talking about right now.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, that's it. And now we get to wait until next week to see Boimler and Mariner.
Yeah, next week's going to be fun. So, hey, I guess we should break this up since you and I like it. One of us should go first. He should go in the middle.
So you guys can balance me out.
Yeah, because you're going to throw all the salt on it.
I think Jason will end up liking it. All right. So, and we got Ariel with
Super Tip
supporting with Count the Money. Thank you so much, Ariel. So count the money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20.
So I wish
mom's case.
Yeah, right.
1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines.
So I really do wish I could remember. I need to go back and I really need to just write these down as far as like the ratings I've given them, because this wasn't my favorite, but I really like this one a lot. I really like the focus on the relationships, because to me that's what, like, sure, Star Trek was set. It was a science fiction show set in space, but it wasn't a space fantasy. That's not what I loved about it. I love the relationships between the characters, and this episode had a lot of that with a lot of different people, and I liked it a lot. Yeah, I mean, gosh, I know I gave another episode a 9, so I feel comfortable giving this one an 8. I really liked it a lot. This is an episode I could obviously I've rewatched it several times. And the rewatchability is a big part of, whether I think something's good or not. Because if it's trash, I'll watch it the one time and that's it.
So you're giving it an 8 out of 10.
I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Yeah.
All right. Solid 8. All right, Jason.
Well, I want to agree with Danny's primary closing point, but it's the issue I find is that they have not found a way in this season, and it's unfortunate because I found last season that it was better, that they could write a story that was serviced by the character growth, or that the character growth was serviced by the story, and in a very complimentary way. I'm not. They're not sinking their hook into me. Like, this season has been just flat out rough on the average, and I was very happy to see Hammer for what little bit of stuff that they had him in for this. I am way more content with the content that we got compared to last week's episode. So I'm going to give it a 5.5 because I would rewatch it.
Is that what the point for the hair?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Ariel. Thank you.
So I'm dissatisfied with the series so far for this season, and it's really starting to pull down the series as a whole. I don't know. They better have something in the barrel, man, because
I think we're gonna hopefully get a big final 3. All right. But so did you get a super tip there or something?
Oh yeah, Ariel sent me a 420. She says more support with Count Mune, and then she asks if Jason's got a stream element so she can support him as well.
Not yet.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, it exists. I just haven't.
Him it's 82 cents at a time or something.
Yeah. I just haven't published it anywhere yet.
Man, we have to triple stream this thing. That'd be. And Mercer, also, thank you for $1 super tip at the same time. It's simply the way they talk here. Nobody pays attention to you unless you swear every other word. You'll find it in all the literature of the period.
Well, double dumbass on you.
Yes. All right. So obviously, I'm going to come in actually kind of in between you guys a little bit. I will say this. This episode to me was like that cookie that Kirk went and got in the galley. It was a nice, comfortable, warm, yummy cookie, but it's not like the awesome steak that you want. Like, that's the episode where the big battle happens, right? That's the steak episode. This is the cookie episode. This is nice, but I want the steak. I'm ready for the steak. We're 6 episodes in now. I want a nice big piece of steak.
I would just settle for a gourmet burger every episode.
I think we've gotten a couple of burgers, but unfortunately, last week they gave you a big dish of FU. But
frankly, it feels like I'm eating at White Castle. But
yeah.
Anyway,
no. Last week we were eating out of White Castle's dumpster. So it was, yeah. So it was, but the. And this episode has this season has 10 episodes, Ariel. So we got 3 more. So I really, really enjoyed it. But is it an episode like when I'm saying, hey, I feel like a Strange New Worlds episode? Is it going to be on my list of ones to go to? Probably not. Like right now, if I'm jumping to a Strange New Worlds episode, I tend to go to, I always forget the episode titles because I'm not real good with them yet. However you say it, the one where they battle the Gorn, but you never see the Gorn.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Memento Mori.
Yeah, Memento Mori. I really like that one. The one where Hemmer dies, I actually think is a really good episode.
So both Gorn episodes from season
yeah,
1.
both Gorn episodes last season were really solid, and the Romulan episode, the season finale last season was really good. The steak episodes, and so
I even like the fantasy crazy episode in last season.
Yeah. Oh, I did that. Yeah.
So far this season, there's been, I think, a lot of interesting storytelling and some interesting character development. But what I'm lacking right now is stakes. We haven't gotten a good, juicy steak yet. We've gotten some really good storytelling, but I'm waiting for that big steak, and I'm really hoping. I mean, at this point, they need to have like the 72-ounce steak that that's
the one from the Great Outdoors. If you can eat the whole thing, you get it for free.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting now because we've been waiting so long.
Yeah.
Instead of that, all we've been getting is lips and assholes, huh? Is that what you're saying?
But there's very little I can say bad about it. The only part of the episode I would really, if say, oh, I want to cut a bunch of stuff out to make it shorter or make it run faster, is I would probably cut some of the stuff with Una and Pella because I didn't find that particularly compelling. They were just kind of bickering.
Well, it certainly didn't service much.
Right.
It was good scenes, like I say, great short treks.
Right, but
great
I'm just saying
short
that it didn't feel like, like you could have taken a couple of their scenes, put them together into one scene, cut a few lines out.
Well, not just that, but you have basically the same exchange between Pella and Uhura as you do with Pella and Una at the end, because she brings up Hemmer in both cases, So,
yeah, and I'm just not, I like Pella, but give her something. I don't want to just bicker with people. I don't mind if she's cantankerous, but I don't want to see her bicker with people like she did with Una in this one.
I don't need to see her be the new Guinan, but I don't need to see her be what we got in this episode.
Right.
So what are you giving it? 6.5?
No, I think I'm going to give it a 7.
You give it a 7.
I really enjoyed it, but I'm not ready to say. Like, to me, the threshold between 7 and 8 means 7 is really good, 8 is great.
Then what the hell is 9 and 10?
Well,
that's like steak and then steak plus seafood.
Well, 10 is the 72 ounce. 9 is like a really good ribeye.
Okay.
8 is a nice top sirloin. See,
all right.
To
all our vegan and vegetarian listeners and watchers, we apologize.
7's a pretty good New York.
No, we don't.
And Brian,
send me what you won't eat.
Sacrilege. 9 and 10 are Picard. No, only if you're scaling out of 100.
Oh my god! I still love Picard season 3. I think I want to binge it again.
Man, you know what? Funny thing I realized with this episode is, and I completely forgot. What's her face? Carol Kane. She played the Penguin's mother in the early seasons of Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she did.
She played a very kooky character in that, which I actually enjoyed.
She likes to play oddball characters.
The average of our scores is 6.66. So that's yeah.
Dum dum dum.
So there you go, guys. So next week, though, I have a feeling we're going to see some high numbers on the scores.
Yeah, I pretty much I'm mentally prepared for whatever shenanigans come.
Yeah,
and so
it's because I mean, just seeing the reaction of Boimler to seeing Pike is like, okay, he's going to fanboy out through the whole episode. This is going to be awesome. This would be like if one of us was dropped onto the actual Enterprise, how we would be reacting.
Right. Yeah.
So
they would have to do something massively unforgivable for me to not at least give the episode a 6.
Like have the sex scene from one episode of
with the beast there, the
yeah, they did. Yeah, but I don't think they're going to go there. I think that this show is trying to keep it mostly family friendly.
Yeah,
mostly.
Yeah. Well, I didn't like the Spock F-bomb. That was the, you know. Anyway, speaking of F-bombs, you got anything else you need to say, Danny?
No, I'm really, really looking forward to next week's episode. I have a feeling.
Forward, meaning you're not?
Oh, no, meaning I may or may not have. I'm just
no,
shut up. Just looking forward to seeing.
All right. So, yeah. All right. I'm the salt of the earth. Danny really does talk way too much. And, you know, he's Canadian. So.
And today I was the Crusty Canuck.
The Crusty Canuck. That should be your name right there. The Crusty Canuck.